This series is to determine the final player that will be promoted from Gold League into Platinum League for Season 3. And we have the young gun, Margougou from France on the left side, playing as the Magyars. And then we've got LaaaaaN from Spain on the right side. And as we've said, Dave, he has kind of been there, done that. He was top 10 in the world in 2020, came back to the scene, has been taking this league seriously. And I love the Civ matchup.
Yep, Magyars against Franks. We're going to see a lot of scouts here, presumably. And I don't mind Magyars here at all. The only problem for Magyars is really no eco bonuses.
Yeah.
And that's why we haven't seen them selected so far. But this Acropolis map is tending more towards long feudal battles. When the league first started, it was kind of like people would make a few scouts or a few archers and then go up to Castle Age as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But especially like that Gujara's Berbers Civ matchup that we've seen twice now. Super long feudal age battles. And I think players are starting to prioritize it a little bit more. So we're going to see what we can get from Magyars Franks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the difference for the players here, and you'd mentioned it already, is that Margougou, he takes advantage of small time windows, whether that's early feudal or early castle. Those are his moments as a player. He's extremely good, particularly in early castle when we have archer maps. LaaaaaN, he's just an eco player, right? And it's not that he's not aggressive, but like all the best players tend to do, they tend to feel strongest when they've got a couple town centers up in Castle Age. So I think it's going to be a fun one because when you have that player trying to go for the eco, and then you have the player on the other side who oftentimes doesn't add the eco and will go for the kill, you sometimes get the best games. But yeah, Woodline's a little awkward, I would say. You kind of got a couple Woodlines connected between the Woodlines they're taking right now. That might be an area to focus on, as well as those 3-tile golds. But there's a whole lot of gold towards the north. This has been common. There's not a lot of gold in the open plains in the south. There are some there. But yeah, it's just going to be transitions, Dave. And I think this could be really nice for Magyars. The fact that Franks don't get bloodlines, if this goes heavy scouts, the Magyar scouts will always be stronger in feudal.
And you can go pretty aggressive on the spearman production for Magyars too.
Yeah,
Getting free forging is really, really good. Especially if there's a forward woodline, you want to push it early. And we've seen a lot of spearmen produce, so not having to get forging is massive.
Yeah. Just helps you out so much, because I think it's a map that you can play perfectly, regardless of who you are. You're going to make mistakes, so having the extra damage done with any hit you get on your spearmen against their scouts early is going to be really helpful. Man, I wish, you know how Liquipedia has stats on matchups, and it says these guys have played each other in tournaments before? I wish we had stats on players' ladder history, because I wonder how much LaaaaaN and Margougou have even played in ranked.
Can't you do that on like AoE Insights?
Maybe someone could do it and give us the information. I mean, I'm sure they've played.
I'm not sure if you can specifically get matchup information. I know you can get matchup information on like the most played opponent.
Yeah, like you could get history too, and you could scroll through, but it would be interesting, because I doubt they have tourney history, because LaaaaaN just hasn't played a lot of tourneys. At least when Margougou's been extremely active. So, and Margougou is one of the rare pros, by the way, guys, who actually started on DE. So he did not, come from the old days like LaaaaaN did and like the majority of pros did. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was stunned by that.
Same.
Really, because I don't think there's that many others in our community that are playing at a super high level that started on DE. Like there are some that, were a 1400 or 1500 on Voobly.
Exactly, yeah.
Shifted over, but
yeah, there's a couple, and a lot of them are coming out of France. So I asked Sato, I said, "What are you guys feeding your people over there, man? Like, what's happening? Why is this not happening from other countries?" He just said baguettes. So I don't know if that was really helpful, but maybe baguettes is the power.
All right, so 19 pop up here from Margougou, and we're gonna get 20 population up here from LaaaaaN. Both on the way to feudal age, and I'd love to see both just go into a stable. I think anything else is just not so smart, right? Both these civs do scouts so well that I think that's the approach you should go for.
Yeah, when you're trying to go for 20 pop on this map, I've seen a lot of one lumber camps here, because by the time you walk down to another wood line, by the time you need the wood for the barracks and then the stable, you're oftentimes just not going to have it. So I'm not the biggest fan of this build from LaaaaaN, but again, you had mentioned, like, you watch his games, it's Castle Age where he starts to end up being strong. His initial builds don't necessarily scream they're that crazy to you. He does wall up the forward wood line here, but Margougou, you can tell, he's going up faster already with no eco bonus. He wants those scouts ASAP, and just one lumber camp for him. I could even see Margougou maybe considering a tower there on that forward wood line, but he hasn't actually scouted LaaaAAN's wood line in the north. LaaaAAN's also pre-walling that. And like we said, the barracks is not going to be up in time for LaaaAAN. So not only is he going to be later to feudal age, but he's going to be a bit late to that stable.
Like I said, builds aren't as crisp, and you pointed it out. It's probably because of that second lumber camp that this is happening, right? So, like you said, stable's going to be late. Margougou will probably be ahead by a scout, fully produced before LaaaAAN even gets his created. So, good start for Margougou so far. And Margougou already making a spearman and already sending it forward. He's got another spearman in the queue. Knows the value of these things. He's going to explore that wood line. He's going to see only 4 villagers on there. So, it's likely that LaaaAAN has another lumber camp even on the wood on the plateau or on the wood, another wood line on the outside. So he should start thinking about that and where he can pressure. This wood line is so exposed here at the front, though. A tower, definitely a possibility, like you mentioned.
I think if Margougou could see that the stable was just now completed, he would have gone for it, but he just doesn't know. He's gone back and forth, expecting there to be a barracks and a stable. There's a bit of confusion for Margougou, but he has 3 scouts right now with 1 more on the way. LaaaAAN has 2 scouts with 1 more on the way. And Margougou's got the spearman too, so good spearman pressure. But then again, LaaaAAN just kind of hanging out here close to his TC, has the hill, and he seems pretty calm despite all this pressure coming in towards him right now.
I love the continued spearman production from both. They know what's going on. And I wonder who is going to go into that range first. Yeah. Because at some point, if this goes long enough, the timing on the range is going to be important, right? You need some units to deal with the spearman. It's a little bit easier here for Margougou because he does have forging on his scouts. But then again, LaaaAAN does have the extra HP on his initially until Bloodlines comes in.
Yeah, or will we even see it at all? Sometimes you see villagers go to gold so you can get early Bloodlines. It's really tricky. So look at this though, right? All the aggression from Margougou, all the numbers, but LaaaAAN's tiny little walling and using the spearman on the berries. It was enough, and he just counterattacks it. Good for Margougou to see it, but it just seems like a seasoned vet move to just wait, and okay, I'm running to your base now. I have the better economy, and you're reacting to me. It's so clean.
Another Acropolis opening here where we see a lot of feudal age military, but so far only 1 hit.
Yep.
Maybe two or 3 hits, sorry, this game, but 0 kills so far.
Yeah, I wonder if Margougou will be happy with this, but he is going to chase this down. I think this is nice too, right? Like, just because you haven't killed anything yet doesn't mean that having scout presence isn't going to be valuable. So he's tracked that. Margougou, no wood upgrade. So that kind of hurts. And there it is, Dave. He's gone to gold now. So we'll see if that's for Bloodlines. I think with 5 going to gold, that is likely going to be Margougou wanting to add an archer range.
Or Bloodlines and then an archer range.
Yeah. Margougou loves his archer plays, so I think it's got to be tempting for him to do so right now. And Margougou runs in. Not the best of fights.
Some good early hits. Yeah, really, really good early hits. Fortunately for Margougou, they were uphill, and he gets away with a decent amount of HP. He is housed because he's been constantly producing scouts and spearmen at the same time. LaaaAAN kind of stalled at that spearman production, but he's gone for the range now. And it's a forward range there. He keeps the scouts coming out. He keeps the spearmen coming out. LaaaAAN, if he wants to go to Castle Age at some point, he's got to be careful because he's not producing spearmen or scouts at the moment, and Margougou is going to find a free villager pick over here. You have to keep producing military if you're open on one side of your eco like this for LaaaAAN.
And that was really good from Margougou as well. He got the grouping perfectly. LaaaAAN will be wise to it this time, so probably won't happen again. Has plenty of spearmen, getting forging now, and I don't think Margougou knows where LaaaAAN scouts are, but he is waiting at home. And we've got a pause.
Again?
Yep. So I'm going to assume that's not a hotkey issue, and hopefully they just resume here quickly, but...
Baguette break.
Yeah, baguette break. 15 on food right now for LaaaAAN. He's got 15 farms, actually, which is insane. And then Margougou's got 7. That's a massive difference in food eco.
And he's running out of berries here.
Yeah.
He is running out of berries.
All All right, so there was a quick pause. We're back in business. Margougou, he doesn't see the scouts.
Also without that first wood upgrade, but he has noticed the wood line on the other side.
This will be interesting because if the archers and spearmen were to go forward right now for Margougou, LaaaN doesn't have a counter to it. But also, there's no counter to this many scouts right now if you're Margougou. But LaaaN chooses not to take the engagement. I guess the TC's too close. Takes the spearmen, not blocking. Game for us kind of freezing up a little bit here as we're trying to catch up to live time. But it's actually better than I thought it would be for Margougou, and he'll defend that.
Yeah, he's going to send 2 spearmen back, and there's probably going to be a third one on the way and another scout. So LaaaN's got to be really careful with that. But look at this wood line, so exposed at the front here. If Margougou notices this, he can just engage against the spearmen with his scouts, and then the archers can hit those villagers, and he's forced LaaaN into a defensive tower. Spearmen won't be lasting very much longer against that many scouts. LaaaN has to abandon with those 3 villagers at the front, goes for a wall, and he's lost a scout at Margougou's base as well. So I think at the end of the day, better situation here for Margougou.
Yeah, tower will be nice for LaaaN. He is pretty well walled around his gold. It's the other wood line that's really a concern. I want to see...
Scouts are in.
No, tower will go up. He might lose a Vill, but I think the Vills could just warp and just jump into the tower. Okay, nice job, Margougou. But yeah, you just go right to the next wood line, right? And LaaaN's got to come home here to defend from this. He's getting armor now. But great job from Margougou with the army production. He's got 4 archers, 6 scouts, 6 spearmen. He's actually producing one of everything I just mentioned. All of his production buildings are producing.
LaaaN might find these reinforcements from Margougou. Margougou's got to be careful sending these archers forward without any spear escorts.
Yeah, true.
And LaaaN is going to collapse on this army from above. Oh boy, this is a pretty dangerous force here for LaaaN, especially with that armor in now, forging in as well.
Oh, and he's going to get the archer too. The free archer, free spear kill. It's the correct move from Margougou, though, to just try and back away with what you can. But it seems like LaaaN was ready for this. And remember, the food eco for LaaaN has been better. Margougou's catching up, but it seems like this is going to be a good fight for LaaaN. He'll clear up all the spearmen. He'll clear up all the archers. And it's just the consistency from LaaaN with the better economy, as he's even thinking about more towers. 2 villagers on stone, which I love on the right side. LaaaN's still in this slightly better position here.
Margougou just now going for a blacksmith. It's a little bit late, I think you can argue. LaaaN had the blacksmith pretty early, and you can see the upgrades already coming into play here. And the thing about LaaaN, I was saying you needed to be careful because Margougou was keeping up production. Well, he stalled out production a little bit for a second there. LaaaN kept the production rolling, got that good fight, and now he's the one who's stalling it out once again. So there's an opportunity for Margougou, but LaaaN stalled it out in order to click up to Castle Age. And he's going to be probably a minute and a half, 2 minutes ahead of Margougou up to the next stage. Really, really important.
Yeah, and it's exactly what we had said with these 2 players, right? And I love the defense from LaaaN. The foresight to know that the next woodline would be a problem and placing that tower now.
Yep.
And
Perfect timing.
He also traded nicely with a couple of his spearmen before they died. I mean, right now I'm beginning to get worried for Margougou because I don't know where he can do damage. And if LaaaN can just go knights, and you don't have an awful lot in the field stopping knights right now if you're Margougou.
I love the base layout here from LaaaN. It just feels so cozy, doesn't it?
Yep.
It feels so secure. And he can abandon the stone. That's the next area that he's going to need to wall. He's still producing scouts on the way up now from 2 different stables, and that's going to keep him safe at home. And he's got the scouts running around in the front. That tower was so important on the second wood line. Tower was important on the first wood line as well. And the archers from Margougou finding 0 value this game.
It's crazy.
They let the scouts into one of the wood lines, but that's about it. He still doesn't even have fletching, and he's cut archer production completely.
Yeah, he's tried so much, right? He's made so much more army in this game. And LaaaN's style is
tower now.
LaaaN's style is just super clean and consistent. But yeah, I like the tower. I mean, you need to kill villagers, you need to take map control, you need to do something. And I think he's been trying to rack his brain on what he could actually do. But when he sees Castle Age, that's going to be painful.
Yeah. It's not just like the ability to make knights. It's the fact that LaaaN made scouts on the way up too.
Yep.
And Margougou is going to be like, where can I do damage on this guy? My archers didn't work. My spearmen haven't been finding value. My scouts killed 1 villager and that's it. And now the scouts from LaaaN are coming back across the middle, and Margougou goes for a tower, but the scouts are here.
Yep, scouts are there. I feel like even if the tower goes up, it won't stay up. And again, patience from LaaaN. He's like, all right, I got Lykev on the way. I'll let you do that for now. Gonna head to your base. This is interesting. He could have fought that, but it wouldn't have been a great fight. But he's gonna look for a better one, and Margougou's just pumping out scouts and spears, just staying in feudal.
Yep, and that's probably what he needs to do. He can't YOLO to castle. There's just too many opportunities to be hit. He's got the tower up. It can range the tower from land because he's got fletching, but it can't range the vills yet. Wall's in the tower, which you love to see. But Lan has light cap now, so he wins the fight against the scouts, and he's going to go for a second TC to secure that stone area over there on the right side of his base.
Like, just the style here, Dave, is just like, I'm going to win this series. Like, the style's just, like, this is so standard. It's so clean. It's admirable, too, because how many games have we seen that were actually this clean against Margougou, but then also, on, you know, on this map in general? He's super consistent. He's going to pump out villagers out of 2 town centers, and he still has been patient with his light cap because he knows he needs to keep his mass up. He's got knights coming to the group, and poor Margougou just has to continue to stay in feudal age and make army, because if he doesn't, he will die to this.
Yeah, I think if you were to tell Margougou, like, prior to this game, it's going to be 25 minutes and you'll have 13 spearmen, he'd be like, ooh. that's probably not a good sign, right?
Or he'd be like, only 13?
Yeah.
I thought I'd have 25 by then. Oh, man.
Villagers coming towards the other wood line. Maybe wants a tower over there. His tower is now officially cutting off the wood in the front from Lan. But Lan finding some value now with knights and light cav. The scouts from Margougou simply can't engage. He's forced to go for another barracks.
And look at this, man. Like, he's had this army here the whole time, but he looped 2 knights to the back. Margougou reacts to that, and now the rest of the knights and light cav hit the wood line. This is over. Yeah.
Yep. Wow, Lan, what a defense. He stalled out production for a second. Margougou snipes 1 villager coming forward with the archers to deny that wood line. Lan goes for an early defensive tower. He didn't hesitate on that.
Yep.
And then preemptive defensive tower on the other wood line. Starts the scout production backups. Adds a second stable. Walls in his base, so Margougou can't hit him there. And then continues scout production on the way to Castle Age, and it's just over. It's just done.
And here's the thing. If you think about what the players did in this game, is actually easier for Lan if you think about it, right? You just make scouts, you make 2 towers, you go up to castle. Margougou had to add archers, he had to add spearmen, he also had to add scouts, he had to go forward tower, he had to time upgrades, all these things. But like, while Margougou's army always has more potential, it comes at a risk of your economy not being as good. And while Lan had lost the Ville, like you said, Dave, he knew that his economy would be there. And I also just think that his style is just so clean when playing safe. And Margougou's going to find it really tough to break this guy today. 1-0 for Lan. 28 to 20 KD to end of the game doesn't look that bad, but obviously if that went on for another 15 seconds, Lan would have killed about 15 more units. Beautiful play. And that's also the game you want with Franks, right? You want Franks to play towards the economy. Magyars, without having the economy bonuses, they always play for the aggression.
Holes on shoals.
Holes on shoals. Oh, God, they're going to be so close together here.
They are.
They are going to be so close together here. Welcome to Nomad. Game 2. Margougou really needs a win. And we have a TC for Margougou instantly, which is always what you want to do. The TC is very late for Lan, actually. Holy crap. He hasn't found the wood line that he likes yet.
He's looking for a spot. He hasn't found a wood line at all. Oh, my God, dude. Oh.
I guess his Dockville found a wood line. But yeah, a much better start for Margougou. And it's just one of the unfortunate things on Nomad. You want to get a TC on wood at the very least. And Margougou dropped his instantly with 1 villager. It's already at 50% there.
Lan does get the dock started faster, though. And that's because Margougou is building the TC with 3 villagers.
Yep.
And when you're playing as Persians or Malians, I don't think it's worth to send the 3rd villager to the TC, even if it would be significantly faster getting that completed.
Yeah.
I think you need that dock up because the reason you're playing these civs are so you can get the fishing ship out immediately.
Agreed. Yeah, and yeah, you do start with more food as Persians, but you're not able to really take advantage of your wood right now. And so, just to be clear on kind of how these starts work. So Persians can afford to go for a TC, a house, a dock, and a fishing ship because they start with extra wood in the bank. And then Malians, all their wood buildings are discounted. So they're able to afford it for that reason. But yeah, I mean, now at this point, yeah, you got the TC up faster, but Lan already has 1 fishing ship, so I think this is probably good. It kind of balances out what the start could have been.
A late TC.
Yeah. So that's fine.
It's good for us. It's not so good for for them. They're both going to be feeling like their start was a little bit rough. I think Margougou is going to have a little bit more faith in his because the TC went up so quickly. You can see the villager count already, like 5 vills against 3, and it's going to be 6 against 3 in a second here. So he's probably like 2 and a bit ahead of LaaaN.
That's true. Both players found a lot of sheep, so they're scouting like crazy. And in fact, a couple of the sheep had swapped hands too, so they might even have some insights that the opponent's close. A first rhino gets brought in here from Margougou. Good start so far, actually. Very good. He's going to have the next fishing ship. He has the house timing down. It's at around 10 and 15 pop. You really start to struggle a little bit with getting your timings done.
Like, what is LaaaN doing killing those zebra in the north? Is it, like, what? Like, what? Do you think Margougou's TC is right there? I guess he lost his sheep. He lost his sheep. So maybe,
yeah.
But that's probably the dock. It's right up against the water.
Well, remember what I'd said. I think that Margougou's best chance is if he goes for non-standard maps against LaaaN. We saw in the previous game what LaaaN can do. It's just super easy, plays towards scouts, TCs, and Castle Age. But Nomad is not that type of map, so yeah, that is weird. That's wasted villager time there. Margougou is a nice little lead. Doesn't make any
sense.
Yeah.
And now you're letting Margougou know as well, if Margougou has explored that area, that you're there because he can see the carcasses.
Or if Margougou doesn't find your TC with that sheep, he gets very confused. I don't know. But yeah, it should give Margougou some insights.
He did find the dock from LaaaN, so if he sees those zebra carcasses, he knows exactly where LaaaN is set up.
Yeah.
Because it can't be the dock villager. Too far away.
Okay, so we have to assume that LaaaN knows that that is Margougou's dock in the north. We're not entirely sure he knows that because he lamed the zebra. Margougou knows where the dock is, and he's dangerously close to finding the TC. But I think he's going to at least know that LaaaN's not going to be set up to the left of him because he's scouting that pretty thoroughly. Then again, he doesn't know there's that much water to the south of his sheep right now, so he might not know. But normally, both these civilizations are the best at playing into fishing ships in Dark Age and then water in Feudal Age. So I'd kind of expect the same, and obviously uptimes will matter. I would give Margougou an edge because he's brought in a lot of food underneath his TC.
He's got a fantastic start, dude. He has a really great start, even with the delayed dock. Really, really great start here, and he's kept production from that dock rolling. Whereas LaaaN did not, and Margougou actually has more. He has more fishing ships than LaaaN.
This is such a Margougou build. It feels like all the other players, they make a lumber camp as their second Dark Age building, but he's going for the mining camp as his second Dark Age building. He transferred everything that was on wood underneath the TC to food, so he could drop it off, and then he's going to transfer things back to wood and gold.
Dude, he's going to click up at 8 minutes.
Yeah, he's gonna have the res too, and then some. Watch,
bro.
Boom. That's crazy.
Sick.
And then he just abandons the food again. Yeah.
At 8 minutes, and he clicks up on Nomad. That's sick. And LaaaN, well, LaaaN just got Loom, but LaaaN is not about to click up here. He's luring another rhino in there. He's got 3 rhinos. Gonna have 3 rhinos anyway under his TC, so the food eco is decent. But damn, dude, this is so aggressive here from Margougou. And we have to look at where LaaaN's golds are located. Way to the right. If Margougou gets archers on the field and controls this area, LaaaN is going to be out of luck.
Now, you also do have to circle back and say, you might not have the wood upgrade if you're Margougou. You've been working with 16 villagers, and LaaaN is now going to be working with more. You're not getting any food. So if whatever your strategy is doesn't work, then we're going to be thinking back to this build order. So that it's just Margougou in a nutshell. They have these crazy aggressive builds. He feels like he has to use that against LaaaN today, and I can't blame him.
And he spends wood on another dock. I'm actually surprised about that. I thought he would just keep his solo dock approach. But this might not be for archers. This is
going to be fire galleys. Pressure. Or maybe just straight galleys.
Galleys. I think galleys is better. Yeah. 2 galleys. If you're up this quick, you go 2 galleys. It's way better.
I'm not
way better.
I'm not a fan of the second dock being further away from the opponent. I'm also not sure about adding another fishing ship.
Dude, imagine from LaaaN's point of view right now. He's like, Jesus. He's checking the time. It's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Bro,
true.
What is going on? What is going on here?
LaaaN's probably like, I gotta brush up on my Nomad build orders, man. What is this? But it's super all in. And I think for that reason, I really like the galleys because galleys are kind of it works really well or it doesn't work at all strategy. So just YOLO it, man. We will see a second dock for land towards the south. I'll probably be adding that any second. And he's had 6 fishing ships here. And honestly, this might be fast castle from land. Look at this. He's got so much food right now.
I think it will be.
Huh.
He's also got the mining camp in between the stone and the gold. So if he needs to shift over, he can.
Yeah.
Don't make another one. That's really nice. Although Malian's cheap mining camps, you should just probably make another one. And he's going for the barracks now. Does not go market blacksmith with the FC. It goes barracks.
Margougou, 5 fishing ships. He's got a couple villagers on deer for food eco, but not a whole lot else. Not a whole lot else underneath his TC. He does see some food if he needs it. And there he goes with the galleys. He will kill the fishing ships pretty quickly. And now it's decision-making time for land because you're probably going to lose your fish. Do you feel like you want to contest it? And he didn't add the second dock here, so I think he's just going to let his fishing ships die.
Yep. And he does not go for a fire or anything.
Hey, does he go blacksmith or market? He goes blacksmith with his stable. But, I mean, he's going to click right up to Castle Age, and these guys are close. So, I know you won't have fishing eco anymore if you're land. But if you see the resources here, especially with that house after Town Watch, if you know that there's villagers there, Mangonel Knight is just going to destroy Margougou.
Land's going to struggle for food. He will have idle TC time here.
Needs to drop off the food there. Yep, is struggling.
It's only villas on sheep. Maybe he was a little bit jebaited by the number at the top that said how many he had on food. A lot of those were fishing ships that are running away.
Yep.
Not dropping off. And there you go. He's up to the Castle Age, but look at Margougou's resources.
That's true. Yeah.
And he's got a rhino under his TC too. So he's got fast food collection coming in. He has the fishing ships as well.
God,
Lion has gone for a fire galley, and Margougou needs to run.
I love what Margougou's doing, but also this brings me so much pain on Nomad because I've been there before. It's like, yes, I'm going to get the food. I've killed this fish. This is great. And then you're like, oh, crap. I need like 350 wood now to make the buildings. And not having the wood upgrade obviously doesn't help. And so that might take him another 2 minutes just to complete those buildings here. It's going to take a lot of time. And he sees the stable, Dave. He waltzed forward there with the outpost, so he'll know this is fast castle from land. Land doesn't know everything about where Margougou is, but if you look at his scouting, he scouted all the shorelines. He knows exactly where the fish will be for Margougou, and I'm sure he can guess where things are going to be on land.
Gone for another dock on the left side, too. There's the market for Margougou. Needs another building. The villagers are already forward here from land. Oh, man, this is going to turn around. It was such a great opening there from Margougou. But even killing the fish, land hits that timing.
Land can only afford to make maybe 2 nights. He doesn't have berries. He's about to run out of sheep. So it's really going to come down to what the siege can do. But there's the panic blacksmith from Margougou. On the bright side for you, Margougou, you are Persian. So it's unlikely this TC will be taken out by the time you make it to Castle Age.
Going for a barracks now. Still has no lumber camp. It's a no lumber camp lifestyle here for Margougou. And land, initially he was going to make the siege workshop near the gold. And he's like, oh, I can go over here too. Yeah. This is fantastic.
The scout edition was amazing here. So many players don't do it. Especially when you don't have the food, you might be tempted not to. But now he should be able to look around and see if Margougou gets to more gold. Margougou will take the gold in the north. He's on the way to Castle Age. And he's got 700 food in the bank. So if he could just make scouts and then some knights and monks of his own, he could definitely defend from this. But it's going to be some crazy pressure.
The fishing advantage that Margougou has right now isn't even going to be a thing in a second because there's no fish to take.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he would need to get a villager to the right, make another dock. Also, look what land did in the south. He added a dock there. He's just got 1 fishing ship there, but that's a lot when you only have 6 on food.
Can he keep adding fish down there too? Because he's taking out the galleys. He knows there's no threat, and he's kind of controlling the area that Margougou would come from with further galleys. Mangonel working away on the TC. It is a Persian TC, so we'll get back to you in 3 years when that thing is finally dead. And it's double stable here for Margougou. Double stable.
The
food eco is only going to support that for so long, my friend.
But normally you need monks with this. If you're land, he has not done that yet. So I think there's a very good chance here for Margougou to clear this up. He's still got 32 villagers versus 25. He does have some fishing eco. Granted, it's not the best. There's the monastery for land. But now the Knights are coming out from Margougou out of 2 stables, and I don't know if the Monks are going to be here in time for LaaaN to defend this.
You could go for walls around.
Let's go.
This is why I like LaaaN. He does all these little smart things, right? He's very experienced, very experienced player. And he's gonna wall in the Mangonel.
He also has the outpost too, but let's see if he can quick wall it. He's quick walled it. Very well played.
Absolutely beautiful. If only there was like a gate connecting this little area to the monastery, and then he could get monks
to save the monk. Yeah. And obviously, Margougou's like, when that monk pops out, I need to kill it. So he's being aggressive here, which I also really like. But he's going to lose a knight, and now the monk is there, and he's going to go in and kill this. I think that's a conversion, but we don't know. Oh!
He deletes it! What amazing timing on the delete there from Margougou.
That was really well played.
Amazing timing on that delete.
Margougou, he's defended from this so far, but annoyingly, he has to actually make siege to kill the Mangonel from LaaaN.
And now he's losing his fish too. So now both players without food eco. Margougou down to 2 on food now. Oh no, dude. Dude, this little area is like a YouTube thumbnail where the Mangonel is right now.
The outpost next to it as well, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, you need to save every single unit you can and heal it up with monks. Monks actually become the most important unit right now. Great micro from LaaaN. He's got to support the monastery, though, so we can hop out with monks. LaaaN, just now seeing that there's monks from his opponent. He loses a camel. He's going to convert a knight.
Shift to the camel. Shift to the camel. Shift to the camel.
He doesn't get a conversion.
How does he not get that conversion? That was like max timing there. Super unfortunate for LaaaN. And now Margougou with a mangle of his own and this little fortress, this little forward fort is not going to work anymore.
That was awesome, though, how the Mangonel went
keep
down.
The villagers inside and convert them, dude. Convert the vills.
Oh, yeah, you need vills. You also need space. So it's a good decision here from Margougou to leave, and also great decision from LaaaN to say, all right, we're behind. Let's double down on this. Add a monastery at home and add another siege workshop. But honestly, as long as Margougou could seed a couple farms, I think he's got the position to win this game right now.
I love that dock on the left from Margougou. I love the dock on the left from LaaaN, or in the south. And I love the one on the left from Margougou. He's still got a galley over there. He knows LaaaN is likely fishing because he saw that dock previously.
What do you think about Margougou's mill next to the zebra in the middle of the map, right between both bases?
I mean, it is what it is, right? It's a mill. It is a mill. It is a mill. He's going for another mill near the other zebra. And he does have military advantage right now. So it's not like LaaaN is super threatening at the moment.
Yeah, true. Yeah, LaaaN, only one monastery at home, and you just look at what he could maybe afford here, and it's not a lot. Making a couple spears, making a Mangonel, but LaaaN will know that he is very far behind this game. By the way, Persian TC went down to 1700 HP, so not having to repair that at all that whole time was so valuable.
Huge. Massive.
Yeah. Good attacks here from Margougou. I'm a little surprised that Margougou hasn't tried to counterattack. I'm sure he's going to expect some monks over there. I'd like to see him push forward more. He's doing it now. 2 town centers for him. We'll find LaaaN's fish in the south, but not be able to do much about it.
Like, he knows that he's really far ahead economically. Yeah. He's pretty far ahead because he killed those 2 forward villagers. He killed the fish really early. He still had his fish working for a very long time.
Yep. I think that what a lot of players would do these days after losing the forward position is they would have 2 or 3 monasteries at home in LaaaN's position. LaaaN's not really that type of player, but if you can get redemption, you can get atonement, which I think Malians can do. I know Persians can't get redemption. If you have the better monk techs and you fall behind an army, sometimes it's just more and more monks. But LaaaN opting to just kind of go for the same military numbers, I think that could be an issue.
LaaaN discovering the dock on the left side for Margougou. Good awareness there. He saw the galley come in, and he's going to explore on this side. Persian docks will survive for a very long time, though, so it's going to be hard to take that out. Margougou going for a clutch outpost there.
Oh, and the attack round didn't get the kill? What?
Almost got it, dude. But he's going to get it here.
Oh, there you go.
Nice play from Margougou. Outposts, if you got Chad, if you're ever involved in a Mangonel war, if you're ever trying to push, you see your opponent has a siege workshop, make an outpost. It's worth the expense.
And get Town Watch. Both players got Town Watch here as well. And that's made the difference for both of them. Now the monks, they're going to get hit. No Sanctity. And so Margougou just pulling further and further ahead here, Dave. 2 TCs, good control, switching into farms. If he can just not even push, but if he can just hold this position for another couple minutes, he's going to win this game.
LaaaN is on stone, so LaaaN's thinking about a castle to help him defend. Castle would be nice, but even if he makes one, Margougou's going to be so far ahead economically. Nice Mangonel micro from both there.
Hit the TC. Ooh, LaaaN gets revenge.
Man. Nice one, dude.
So maybe there's a chance. You've got 5 pikemen, you'll have a couple monks, you'll have a Mangonel. But at the end of the day, there's still 6 monks there for Margougou. And that's been the biggest thing for me, is he's always kept producing monks. He also has 2 relics as well. That's insane.
Knights are looping around. Knights are looping around. LaaaN does have an outpost in that area. He does have Town Watch, so he should be able to see the Knights coming in. It's just whether he can quick wall that area around the gold and the stone when they do.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very difficult, especially when he's focused on the Mangonel wars at the front.
Yeah, it's
the Knights.
Precisely what you want to do. Margougou is also taking out the barracks of the player who's making pikemen, so that's kind of nice. I don't know if he even knows pikemen will be used yet by Margougou, but...
Oh, Knights are in, Knights are in, Knights are in, Knights are in. This is a massive moment here. The monks are so far out of position. LaaaN is going to be losing villagers. He doesn't notice right away. He notices now, and he has to abandon ship with 16 villagers.
Yeah, and now this just buys Margougou more time. Margougou also microing well on the front, sending in the knight for the Mangonel. There's a monk there, so he runs away. He does lose the knights, unfortunately. But Dave, that raid right there was just massive. It's still buying Margougou more time to expand that economy.
Exactly. And look, he's going for another TC, and he's at 69 villagers right now. It's really good vill count. LaaaN has expanding his fish eco, which is fantastic. But now Margougou, because of that Persian dock that just never dies, he's got 4 fire galleys on the other side. And I think War Galley might even be a decent investment here. Just even buy the food for War Galley and go and kill everything from LaaaN.
He probably doesn't know that there's 11 fishing ships out there from LaaaN, because that's a lot, and that's kept LaaaN in this game. But yeah, you're right, Dave. Even without it, I think you take out the fish. I think you take game 2, and you feel very good about yourself if you're Margougou. I was a little concerned about his mindset and how game 1 went, because it was just so aggressive. It was too aggressive. Has to have better eco, but he solved that this game. Yeah, kind of patrolling into the dock in the south, which is unfortunate, but still the middle control is so good. Another snipe there from Margougou.
I love these little Mangonel wars. Oh, he almost got him there with the attack round. LaaaN pulls away in time.
Yeah, you would.
Has Margougou built a lumber camp yet? That's an excellent question, guys.
He just did.
Has not.
He just did, and he's getting the wood upgrade just now. Pretty crazy to go
First
3 TCs before a
game,
lumber camp.
31 minutes.
I mean, the build paid off, didn't it, right? Killing the fish as quickly as he did. But also the follow-up was awesome. A lot of people would go for the initial build to kill fish, and then they wouldn't have the follow-up with the castle time. I don't know, man.
This is a really impressive Nomad game here from Margougou. Like,
yeah,
really
look at the shots!
Takes the house and the Mangonel at the same time with that attack round. Fantastic work.
And you just can't advance against Monk Siege with pikemen. We've seen it so many times. Doesn't matter if you don't even get Sanctity. You just lose all your pikemen.
Oh my god. Oh, man.
You lose it all. You should lose it all. Margougou actually didn't do too well with his conversions there. He can't convert with any of his monks. So he has to be careful.
There's monks following up from LaaaN. Actually, this could be a turnaround here because all those monks are
my god. Did he really? LaaaN's going to drop a castle. LaaaN, send the boys.
Send everything.
Send everything and just drop a castle in this town center. What is happening?
And if he drops a castle here, right? If he drops a castle here, what Margougou needs to do is build a TC to deny it.
No, just buy the stone and build your own castle. You don't need to
build
TC
2 TCs to deny it.
I thought you were going to say the appropriate thing and say castle drop, but...
Well, he's buying this stone right now.
Yeah.
He's no fun. He's no fun.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you're up 2-0, you do what you said. But you are kind of behind right now. Great farming eco behind all this from Margougou. Also, while all that was happening, Margougou was raiding with knights. LaaaN did react to it, but great raids again.
Margougou is going to come here with the forward castle, not LaaaN. LaaaN might... Oh, they're both sending. Tristan, the villagers are coming from both sides.
Monks are going to matter a lot here.
There's also a Mangonel here from LaaaN. LaaaN could potentially attack around a foundation from Margougou. He sees the villagers coming forward. He should be ready to attack around that. Margougou has an outpost, though, so he can see the Mangonel there. And he knows the potential to deny that foundation is there.
You need your Mangonel to hit the monks. If you take out all those monks, it becomes a different situation here. Let's see.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh. That's not good. This is not the start you wanted if you're LaaaN. You're losing your units.
No.
Oh, God. Your monks are on the front. Your villagers are there. I don't think you have enough.
If he gets good conversions, he did get some really good conversions. Mangonel is coming forward. LaaaN still has the Mangonel of his own there. Oh, boy.
What is happening? Please stand by. Okay.
Margougou going for a castle.
No,
Mangonel
that's
is no
over.
longer alive.
Yeah.
Can't deny it.
LaaaN doesn't have army anymore. He can't deny this. Also, there's knights in the back of his base, too. Hasn't killed a lot, but took villagers off of gold. All the vills on the front will die for LaaaN. And LaaaN is going to be forced to call it here now, surely. What a messy moment that was, though.
114 villagers for Margougou versus 41.
Yep.
Persians.
And
They
also,
get rolling.
I know Margougou didn't find the fish until now, but he still paid attention to those fishing ships. He actually can't do damage to them. He's hitting the dock because the dock's in the way. But he is there, so that's good.
Knights looping around once again. That's just a constant headache for him. Villagers are now... He's sending everything. LaaaN is sending everything, and
Make a
it's going to be
demo.
a castle on the shoreline.
Make a demo, Margougou. Come on. Now, I think you could TC this one. You're pretty far ahead. Go for the TC. You still
if you
go for the
CB
castle as well.
You can just wall out with those two villagers forward.
Yeah, quick wall with the berry
No, the
bills.
castle's going even further forward. LaaaN knows he needs to do something special here. Nope.
You buy your own
Places it
castle
there.
here if you're... Or do you just give it up if you're Margougou? What do you do?
I think you just, like, deny it with your knights. He's buying stone. He's going for a castle of his own.
He needs 4
Oh
stone.
my God.
He needs 4 stone. Oh my god. Okay, dropped off the stone.
That's too late. Right? Surely.
Okay. I guess both players will get their castles up in the end.
This is a I completed my castle in your face. Now I'm going to call the GG castle.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, credit to LaaaN for still continuing to try, but he still has a horrible economy at home. He's on 3 town centers, which is crazy, but he doesn't have much of an economy. And yeah, there's the GG called. Margougou responds, Dave, and I think he needs more moments like that, more unique build orders and more early aggression. But also, and I know he's going to have a shortage of it in the map pool, I think he needs more maps like Nomad. More maps that don't allow LaaaN to play into standard builds, because clearly Margougou is able to strategize a couple things, and LaaaN's just not used to it. Turning moment in this game was probably just Margougou clearing up the initial forward, right? We knew LaaaN was behind. And LaaaN did a good job to make the game go on longer, but it was a really good job against an aggressive forward there from LaaaN.
I think if LaaaN extends that little outpost area to his monastery and puts the monk inside, I think the complexion of this game changes, because when that delete came in from Margougou, that clutch delete, and he got the monk, all of the momentum. It seemed like the air just went out of LaaaN's push, right?
I also think the way to
Nothing.
recover, and this just might come back to the fact that LaaaN isn't playing near as much as many of the players, the way to recover after you lose that position is never to eventually go pikeman. You always go like double, triple monastery.
Yeah.
Persians have very weak monks. They don't even get sanctity, but you can just convert those monks. You can convert everything that Margougou was doing, and LaaaN didn't choose to do that. So I think that's just inexperience on his part, but it's a great series, 1-1. 3 more games potentially, we hope. And it's going to be LaaaN's turn to decide on which battlefield we have. I imagine it's going to be Arabia or something.
What do Gujaras do against Poles in the super late game?
Chakram?
Like, you're just going camels with frontier guards.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like super gold intensive.
Yeah. I think you would go camels and Chakram. But I think while Chakram's good, you would need the castle set up around the map on this one here. And it's tricky. Like, you remember that game with Barles? That was the best example of it. But, you know, players oftentimes don't use their castles for a unit on this map. They use it to control the sides. Margougou might want castle to, I don't know, control the front of his base. He's got a very open front of his base with the golds there. Is obviously awkward for LaaaN as well with his main gold bordering the ice. But I think he'll prefer his woodline positions, because the wood lines just allow him to wall up a little bit more.
Margougou's golds are hideous.
They're rough.
Almost as bad as Classic Pro's golds in the last set. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, so when you're playing as the Poles, you can receive some gold when you mine stone. So the stones are actually much better. Not all of them, but the stones find a wall up. But you do take some level of risk when you pick the poles. You are hoping for some level of fortunate map gen when you pick the poles. For the Gurjaras, I think if this would be like a super open map, they've shown how strong they can be. And while we haven't seen them picked on a lot of closed maps, they're just easier to play in general, I feel, because you don't need to rely on as much. But I'm really surprised that
everywhere for those boars, but where they weren't.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was going to say, what was he looking for? But, dude, I got to question if your Gurjara is not going to the middle immediately to get sheep.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many sheep out here.
Yeah, he's only got 4 sheep right now. Maybe he's just content with having his starting 8.
Yeah. Or maybe he was unlucky. Maybe he was hoping to find his sheep. Like, he's missing his sheep again.
He couldn't see his boars initially, and he had scouted a lot. He had a villager coming back there, but I think he sent his camel scout back there just to find where the boars were, because he needed them immediately. So.
Well, Margougou has been very unlucky with the sheep in the middle, to be fair. He's just now found 2. He missed out on 2 more towards the right, where the wolves are. So LaaaaaN will still maybe be able to find some.
He's gotten 6 out of the middle here, though, right, Margougou? I think he's gotten 6. Yeah,
I guess he's got 2 at home.
4 at
4
at home.
Yeah.
There's 8 total in the middle, so.
All right, Margougou 4 on wood. It doesn't necessarily indicate a specific strategy, as we have the camels and the scouts fighting. LaaaaaN might be thinking, hey, camel beats scout, but in Dark Age, the bonus damage isn't really there. So this could be a 50-50 fight.
Get away,
yeah,
I think.
The scout does 3 damage. Margougou's trying to do the math right now. He's like, I do 3 damage, he does 2 damage. It should be as close to 50-50 as possible.
But Camel Scout wins. There's also way more HP on the Camel Scout. Right?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it would be 4 more hits for LaaaaaN to get a kill.
I think the Camel Scout
and it would be 5 more hits for the scout to get a kill. But really close. And it's actually not bad to weaken that Camel Scout, because the Camel Scout could be really valuable to the Gurjaras in Feudal. But you could argue the same thing.
It always wins on 1 hit, as far as I'm aware.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I took enough fights where I was just like, oh, I'm going to win with the Camel Scout, and then realized midway through it that they're just pretty weak in Dark Age. Okay, so more sheep coming in. LaaaaaN also has eaten some of his sheep. So he's got 7 inside of his mill, and he's eating 1 now, which isn't awful. He didn't push in deer, I guess, which is part of it, and he's going to bring in 2 more sheep. But
I think once you get past the 7th sheep, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. It's probably just better to eat it. And even on Garrison's one.
Yeah.
To bring it under the TC. So
what he doesn't know is what Margougou's map looks like. And Margougou is pretty well aware of what his map looks like. And unfortunately for him, he doesn't actually see the additional sheep to the north and that wood line, because I think that would make his base a whole lot stronger had he walled between those wood lines. But still, he'll get walls down. He's getting loom. He's now going to see the right side of his base. And if he doubles back there, he'll see that that's an easy wall off for him. And I think things could shape up towards walls.
He hasn't found the 2 sheep on the right either. He sees the 1 sheep to the north.
Yep. He's just making all these... Dude, tons of houses. Do you really, when you're at 35 pop, do you really need to spend all that wood and time on building houses there? He wants to
especially when
fortify
your
it,
full works, when your full works provide +5 populations.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It feels like double palisade wall would have done the same thing, but who knows?
Well, game 1, LaaaaaN went scouts, transitioned from there, won the game. Game 2 wasn't really able to do that, obviously, on Nomad. Game 3, he wants to do that. And it seems pretty strong. I think that the poles have to be played in a more unique way than the Gurjaras. We've already been talking about the Gurjara eco bonuses and bonuses with the Camel Scout as well. So just things that you've taken advantage of already. Margougou's going to have to work hard to make this map be perfect for the poles. But you can still play up towards Feudal Age aggression and still be fine here. And he's definitely thinking long-term with that. He's going to make his military buildings on the front. And if he can line that all up in front of the ice there, he should have pretty good access to resources.
I love the way that LaaaAN's walled here. Just securing that gold.
Yep.
Takes a little bit of extra effort, but he's got a lumber camp forward there anyway, so it's not too much additional walking time. And he's just going to wall to the TC. So he's going to be very, very secure, and he can just focus on pressuring his opponent now. Won't have to worry about the army from Margougou coming in early. So really, really nice job recognizing the type of map that he had and securing that back gold early from LaaaAN.
Is he just not going to make scouts here? No, he is going to make
think-
scouts. Okay.
Yeah, you make a few, but
I mean,
mostly just for monitoring your enemy's activity.
yeah, and for scouting the rest of the map. I mean, if he knew what Margougou's map looks like,
Yeah.
he would have made that stable a little bit faster. But Margougou will have a stable as well. Margougou will have a spearman. And I don't see a problem for Margougou to get the walls down. As long as he's got 2 villagers focusing on it and his spearman and scout stay at home for the first minute or 2, the walls will get down in front of both those golds. He's got plenty of farm space, and he's got safe stone behind these walls.
More houses, too. It's already got 50 population available, dude. No housing
Dang.
crisis here.
Okay, so what's your plan? You're up against Gurjaras that do more bonus damage with their stable units.
Oh, I don't know what the plan is for Poles. I wonder what the plan could be for Poles. It doesn't really matter what you're against, does it? It's the same thing every single time.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you might think let's go Olbuk, right? But I actually think a unit that could be decent is like, you go Knights, obviously, but then maybe switching into Arbalest. I know Shravamsha Riders out there for the Gurjaras, but I could see Arbalest being very good against the camels that Gurjaras could send out.
Yeah, the problem for the Gujaras here is that every option you have against the Poles is going to cost gold.
Yeah.
A lot of gold.
Yep.
And the Poles can get the cheap Knights. That's a really unfortunate map generation here for Margougou. Can he not wall in front of that gold? Can he not complete this?
Oh, no way. That sucks.
Oh, don't tell me.
He's got to be, if he can get Palisades on the other side.
Yeah, he can get a palisade on each side of the gold, but that
That
pretty,
sucks, dude.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, that's annoying. Way to go, Ice. I guess,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, LaaaaaN is
Yeah,
not even
that's-
tried to take his main gold right now.
Maybe he could trap him in there.
It's
No,
all
but
part
he
of the
can't
plan.
because it's because it's
Oh,
all
because the
He
ice is
can't
still
trap him.
there? I was thinking it too, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, I think all things considered, when we looked at the map initially, Margougou's
Yeah.
feeling much better than he was in Dark Age. He's got his walls down. 2 of his golds are behind the walls. His stone is behind the walls. He already has 6 farms around a full work. And while there are scouts on the field for LaaaaaN, he hasn't really accomplished much with it. He also had lost his camel scout earlier. Margougou hasn't lost a unit yet, so neither player will likely get in. But this will be about transitioning towards the next stage here, and probably a lot of eco.
Margougou's going to stone here, so he's going to gather gold via stone, but he's going to have to send more than 4 villagers if he wants to get up at a competitive time, because this comes in very slowly.
Well, I mean, if you think about
There
it,
we
though,
go.
he
There's
doesn't
the
have the
fifth.
food yet, right?
Yeah.
So if anything, I think he'll have too much gold because he's gone to it pretty early. And man, the extra sheep, I mean, I don't even know if it was extra sheep because I think he missed out on quite a few, but
He missed out on 2 on this side. Lane's stealing them now. I think he got
he got
6
the other
extras.
2 maybe? Okay.
He got 6 extras, so he's +4 right now.
Ooh, and also plus a couple hits in the middle. And also has additional spearmen. So yeah, good control. The sheep helped him, but now he'll seed more farms around the fullwork. And yeah, I think we'll have really close castle age times as we see archer range for LaaaaaN, but at a time where I don't think that crossbow is that realistic.
Elephant archers, here we go.
I was going to say, they don't get cav archers, right?
No. They get chonkers.
I mean,
Nice split there from Margougou. He kind of like baited him in.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut. I'm going to...
he's
Look, I'm
he's
going to fight. I'm going to
he's
fight.
continuing to do it as well. I guess maybe you bring one archer and kill the spearman later is kind of the plan here, but the archer range is not what I was really expecting here from LaaaaaN.
So, look at Margougou's gold count right now.
Ooh.
He has to go out to gold, dude. I told you.
Yeah.
It's just so slow.
It
It's
is
so
slow.
That was such a good nerf to Pulse. Really,
Yeah,
really nice.
I think it's good as well. And honestly, polls were never really that crazy with that particular bonus on an open map, but it was more so the closed maps. I think it's a really nice nerf for them. He can add an extra villager or 2 and click up a little bit later. He'll be okay. But man, he'll be in a position to drop a castle when he makes it to castle age. His food eco is wild. He'll have nice army control as well. So I'm liking his position, and I think for LaaaaaN, certainly he might be able to drop the town center, maybe monastery if he wants relics, but I still kind of feel like the polls, if Margougou wants to be aggressive, that is, could do something crazy here.
Dude, Margougou was 40 seconds behind just because he went up to stone. with too few vills.
Is it worth it though? What do you think? Because at the end of the day, you have collected 2 different types of resources.
No. It is. It is worth it 100%. He just misjudged.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. I thought the balance was really nice. It's still going to both be up around 20 minutes. It's the Archer edition, the 2 archers from land. That's interesting. But I guess like for him, he might think this is going to be arena style where you just need to compete for relics and boom. So he probably just wants his scouts to be able to move out a bit more freely. And Margougou is actually adding more spearmen in the middle and more scouts. It's pretty unexpected, I think. The additional spearmen...
Yeah, with poles? That's really unexpected.
I get the additional scouts, but the additional spearmen I'm not necessarily in love with.
Sees the archers, he turns around. He's getting bloodlines, he's getting forging. He should be able to clear up this army once he gets those upgrades. But Castle Age is in now from LaaaN, and what is the approach from LaaaN?
It's Margougou's like, ha! Archer switch doesn't work for you either. How's it feel?
But like, why the archer switch? I don't understand.
I guess just because of the spearmen.
Monks?
Yeah,
spearmen. I don't know.
Well, I think we'll see TCs from LaaaN. He's gonna make a Shravamsha rider for now. He's probably like, well, guess I boom now. So immediate 2 TCs. TC timing is important here for Margougou. You could just immediately drop the castle, protect your vulnerable golds, and go for the unique tech and pressure. But then you could fall behind an eco. He goes for the town center. He goes for the monastery. And I like this approach from him. You can always delay that castle. You just don't want to fall too far behind an eco. And even another TC as well. Though it's not building. There he goes. So we've got a boom fest. And I'm, as the host of the event... I'm really happy Margougou's ice patch in front of that gold didn't screw him over here in feudal.
Didn't make a difference. Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, it's better if it's live. Because, like, I don't know. If he got upset about it, he could pause, send me a message, we talk about it. Some of these are covered as Rex, right? So I don't get to see it. But, yeah, I mean, best compositions for poles, probably, like, Winged Hussar... and Arbalest here, and best composition for Gujaras, camels and chakrams.
Frontier Guard camels. If LaaaN has access to gold, I think Gujaras win in the late game compositions, and Margougou's doing the right thing here. He's selling the stone and he's just buying wood.
Yeah.
And you buy wood as poles instead of food because you can just instantaneously get food when you drop the farms from your wood, so it's like a double.
Yeah, it's just like to not have that second farm upgrade on any new farms with poles feels really bad. And man, he has really secured a lot of space for himself. The only resource that isn't locked down with walls and town centers is the 4-tile gold, whereas LaaaN, his TCs, they still leave stones and golds exposed to the side. The Shravamsha's in the middle. LaaaN's been making quite a few of them. I remember Tata making them in a spot where I was like, not sure if I'm in love with this or not. But clearly there's been some discussion there between the 2 Spaniards, and he's just going to make Shravamshas instead of light cap for the monk control. Or relic control. Man.
Run. Oh, Margougou didn't see him. Okay, LaaaN takes the first relic.
Yeah, there's 2 relics on the ice. There's another one to the far left. I'm actually missing one, so I assume that Margougou's on the way back with one. Our monk has one somewhere. I'm not entirely sure, but Margougou is at 56 vills, so he's got a slight lead there. He is going to get 1 relic, I would guess, maybe 2. He's probably favored to get 3 as well, depending on how active he is with his scouts on the left. Lots of vision. They both see... Oh, actually, the vision for Margougou is insane. Margougou sees both the neutral golds in the east and west corner, so he'll be able to think about that.
He's going to have 100% exploration.
Yeah, except for that itty-bitty corner.
He's going for the achievements here.
Let's go. Nothing more frustrating than trying to get 100%, and then at the end of the game, it's 99.
Yeah. It's like, where?
Yeah, it's always half a tile or something.
No.
Yeah, this is a great game from Margougou. I was really concerned for Margougou after the first game that he was going to try and be too fancy and just switch into all these different options in feudal and then just not play solid with a boom, which you have to do on Ghost Lake and occasionally on different maps. This is really clean.
I'm wondering here, is LaaaN just going to build up? Is this going to be like the equivalent of a Franks player booming up and just going Paladin and hoping to win in one fight, with LaaaN going for like the Frontier Guards camels and hoping to just sweep over him? Because you're giving the Poles so much time.
Yeah.
So much time to do whatever they want to do.
I mean, you could also kind of flip the script on that conversation too, because I feel like the Gurjara Frontier camels are better than the majority of things you can do, at least do easily with the poles, right? Because it's easy
That's
to
what I'm
spam the
saying.
stable units, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that LaaaN might be going for an approach like that.
yeah, just to
Where
and maybe
he
we should
just-
be questioning why Margougou isn't pressuring.
No, I like what Margougou is doing. I mean, he's playing towards his Civ strengths, right?
For sure, yeah.
And eventually, if you go up against the Frontier Guard camels and you've got enough castles set up and your walls are down and everything, your economy is going to win at the end of the day with poles.
I think the fact that LaaaN isn't scouting the corners at all, and it might seem like a small thing, but I think the fact he isn't scouting the corners tells me that you're right. I think he's just going to try and win this really fast. But he would need 4 or 5 trebs, and he'd need a lot of camels.
Sanctity coming in clutch there for LaaaN.
Also, LaaaN just keeps checking up on that gold. That's the only gold that's exposed right now for Margougou.
He's up.
Love the castle for Margougou. I also love the fact that the door to the castle, not that this actually matters, just opens up right onto the ice.
Yep.
There's something cool about that.
It's great in the wintertime. It's not so much fun in the summer. Great boat access.
Yeah. All right, so Imp should come in for LaaaN. Hasn't come in yet. He'll see the castle. I mean, there's not much he can really do here, but he gets a conversion anyways. So pretty impressive value.
Do you think this castle is haunted? It's letting all the ghosts in.
I don't know, but click the castle and just look at the assortments of units in it. Tell me the last time.
To me.
Tell me the last time you've seen that assortment of units in a pro castle. Not that it's bad. It just seems very random.
3 Obok, 6 Spearmen, 2 Knights, 3 Scouts.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And he's opening Obok.
I like it. I just think it's really awkward to get the mass of them. But then again, I mean, LaaaN is still 2 minutes away from him. He's just now adding the stables. He would need a castle, probably conscription, then frontier guards, and then trebs. So, I mean, the time is going to be there.
LaaaN's going into shock rooms? Okay.
I thought he was going to. I think he wants to do everything.
He might just go camel shocker. Yeah, he might want to do everything.
Yeah.
Might want to do everything. He does have 2 relics. He's going for the castle now. And he's going to get set up on that gold. And this is just going to be... Well, this is how the YouTubers or people on YouTube like Age of Empires to be, which is a massive buildup into gigantic armies at the end. And then you have one battle.
Yeah, it might be multiple, right? It might be multiple, but these wolves don't want LaaaN to think about that on the right. He's trying to outpost to see the other areas in the map.
They're ganging up on him.
That's going to be a woo-woo-woo. Yeah, she's dead. And LaaaN didn't even scout with 1 scout. That bothers me. To not have that gold on that right side scouted at all with anything, it tells me he's a little too fixated on this area of the map. Also, he continues to get infantry upgrades. He's not actually making chakrams, but I guess he wants to get his text first, which would make sense.
Elite Obuk on the way for Margougou. So, LaaaN could go for chakrams against Obuk. They should do decently. Gujaras have access. They have access to hand cannons, right?
Yeah, they do. I do have access to hand cannons. Interesting how the chakrams were just canceled there. I guess LaaaN's canceling it for conscription, so still getting tax. I would like to see Margougou go for Winged Hussar and Obuk. And then eventually he could add archer ranges and go for ranged units.
Very sneaky stables in the north.
Oh, true.
The castle there, though. I don't think there's really much potential from those stables, but you never know. Crop rotation now coming in here from Margougou.
Worth.
One of the only civs where that instantly makes sense. And he's stretching up for a castle on the right. LaaaN is hanging out there with the camels. He hasn't seen the gold out there. He does now, and he's going to see the villagers. And Margougou, oh boy.
Okay. He no.
No, now he's.
It was a bait.
Now he's going. Now he's not. Now he's. But the camels are on. Nope. Now he's going back. Okay.
I like how Margougou was like, he doesn't notice me. And then LaaaN finally notices.
He does notice me. He does notice me. Oh, crap. He does notice me. Lots of dead vills.
I think Margougou pushing the middle with 1 treb right now could be something that haunts him here. You got to lock down your sides first here, my friend. You're losing a lot of eco. It's only 1 treb, so you know, you could just buy so much time if you're LaaaN. You do get Bomber Cannon as Gurjaras, so he's waiting for chemistry to complete. And Margougou, man, if you would have just brought your army to secure that corner first. You have the neutral golds, you have 3 relics, and then you could go for the trebs later, but he wants to go for the kill now.
Yeah, I don't... See, LaaaN's building up to a big force. He got that good damage on those villagers coming up for the castle. Margougou sends the villagers out again. But the thing is, and I've been saying this all game, like, if LaaaN doesn't have access to those neutral golds and can't keep spamming, eventually Margougou's going to win.
And it's an
Eventually
experience.
He's going to win.
It's an experience thing, right? Like, Sato actually had the same issue, and we referenced Sato because Sato is, like, Margougou's teacher, right? They're very similar players. Margougou has learned a lot from him. And Sato had the same issues. Like, you got to drop castles in late game on this map, or good players are going to punish you. I think these chakrams are going to wreck the Olbuk. I think the Olbuk have no chance to engage.
If they ever get close, though, the chakrams will fold.
Yeah.
But they're not going to get close.
They're so
the Frisbee
slow.
Chuckers are just going to completely demolish that. And now Margougou's in a situation where he's like, I can't get away with these trebs in time. I just need to buy myself enough time with the units in front to take out that castle. Bomber Cannon's coming here from LaaaN. This is going to be really close. The Cavalier working away on the chakrams. And do the trebs take out the castle in time?
It's so close.
It's so close.
It's so close. And it still could work. It still could take out the castle, and then maybe it's worth it, Dave.
Bomber Cannon's going to die. Bomber Cannon's going to die here. Margougou just on point with that Cavalier switch. However, one Bomber Cannon's still alive. Working away on the trebs. Even a Petard getting into the action. Multiple Petards getting into the action. I don't know what the plan is there. Maybe a misclick or something, but the treb goes down. The castle stays alive.
I mean, the positive here is that your units are pretty cheap as the polls, but you lost a lot of trebuchets there. The Petards is still confusing. He also lost villagers, right? He lost a lot of villagers he has to add in again. But at the same time, I still think his control is good enough to win this game. And we haven't seen LaaaN get heavy camo with Frontier Guards yet. And LaaaN hasn't really secured the left side of his base because he doesn't have a castle there after sinking so much stone into repairing a second ago. So it's still going to be a crazy fight.
Yep.
And I'd like to see Margougou try and think about raiding the right side as well. At the left side, LaaaN still hasn't noticed. Oh, man. Oh, man, LaaaN.
Castle now on the left side.
There he goes.
He's got the setup here, man. He's got the Polish setup here. Like, he's
He
clearing up all the buildings in the north. He saw those because he tried to go for a full work, and the villagers were very confused.
Yep.
He's got 4 castle line now across, and he's got Cavalier over on the right, preventing expansion from LaaaN. Cavalier raiding on the left side, Frontier Guards coming in. So it was exactly what we thought it was going to be for LaaaN. He's just building up into his late game army. He thinks it can win, but can he outlast the polls? I don't think so.
Well, so I think with that in mind, you got to push once you're at 200 pop here. You've got 3 Bomber Cannons, you got Elite Chakram, and you've got Frontier Guard Camels. You have to push. And Margougou, you have to raid with 10% army. Just consistently raid all the corners and then defend with everything else and hope for the best.
Get your farm count up to like 60-something. Get Winged Hussar attack.
Yep.
Chittick Legacy. All of that stuff.
I think
if you grind him down.
I think if you wait in Margougou's position, you struggle. So go for the kill. And it's interesting to see what LaaaN's doing now. He's actually going to try and chip away at the sides, which is more of the late game approach. He's going to shift towards the castle in the north right now.
Like, why wouldn't Margougou push right now? He's 200 pop. He's got plenty of resources. And, he's going to find all 3 of those Bomber Cannons, Tristan. That's
huge.
Massive. That is huge. There goes the momentum for LaaaN. There goes all the momentum for LaaaN.
He could lose his Cavalier as well, but at least now he can fall back to his castle. And that's our point.
It's Polish Cavalier, right? Like, how much do they really cost?
Also,
absolutely nothing.
You got to get Winged Hussar and I can't say it. Legacy, okay? That one. You got to get it because you will eventually run out of gold. It's not going to be anytime soon, you'd think, but it will happen, and you want to make sure you're maxed out when that day comes.
I mean, on the bright side for Margougou, his Olbuk will be stripping away all this melee armor from the camels. So I
guess
right?
that's true. Such a
Margougou,
weird bonus.
Now getting Lechitic Legacy, he's getting Bracer, so he's going to go into Arbalest as well.
Yep.
And he's going to have all the options available to him. Just keep the expansion on a minimum on the right side from LaaaN. Keep units over there. Don't let him stretch out on that side. Then you can fully focus in the middle and on the left.
Oh, man. LaaaN was about to go to the right. So good job from Margougou to send the cav in there. And now Margougou wants to take the left. But he doesn't see that LaaaN's coming back over. And I think you've got to get out of here if you're Margougou. I don't think you can take this fight.
Castle. Yeah.
I think you save the castle. Save the castle for later. Let's see. It's double melee versus range and melee. And oh, God, you got to run faster than that.
He had the Trebs grouped up with his units. Obuk are stripping away the armor, and the Cavalier are engaging against the Chakrams. But now the Obuk are in a situation where the Chakrams can hit them? No.
If LaaaN had 4 Trebs right now, and oh my God, Margou's going to get more siege. I was going to say, if he had the Trebs right now, he could push that castle. Great find from Margougou again.
Oh, wow. Can he get the Treb? He does get the Treb. Can't get the bomber cannon, but it's only one.
Yep.
It's only one bomber cannon.
Dude, you need 2 Rams and a couple Obuks on the right side. Just bust open LaaaN's back corner and then raid there with Hussars. You got to do that. Honestly, here.
I think Margougou should make like 3 more Trebs and then use them almost like onagers or bomber cannons against the Chakrams.
That could work. Yeah.
I think it's a slow push out from him. You can toss away the Obuk, you can toss away the Cavalier, because you can replace them. You have more than enough resources. Just keep firing on those Chakrams. Keep them at a distance.
Yep. LaaaN really needs to get those Trebs, man. I mean, he was in a position before to immediately counterattack and push. Great job from Margougou.
Wall up your base. Wall up your base. A castle in the middle of your eco, I think, could do wonders here for Margougou as well.
Yep. It's not every day you see both players get hoardings and architecture. I don't know if Gurjaras get that, but I'm pretty sure that was researched by one of the players earlier.
Okay, Margougou's coming back to the right side just as LaaaN attempts to expand, and Margougou is the first one to hit the market for wood prices too.
LaaaN did hit the food prices earlier for what it's worth. He's got 5k gold for that reason. And he's still protecting his siege. And Margougou will see the siege is there, so he'll know he needs to defend. Also on that right side, Margougou, good find here. I don't think... Wow, these camels are strong. I don't think that the Winged Hussar are enough, though. Stables will go up there for LaaaN. LaaaN's still tempted to push. He's got 4 Trebs now.
Margougou needs, like, to use his population while he's pop-capped here.
Yeah, you need to be raiding. Yep, exactly. He's waiting a lot. I'm just not so sure, man, if the army composition's good enough. But, Dave, look what Margougou's done. He's using his own Trebs on the hill. Like you said, that's really smart thinking to just hold this position as long as possible.
Not quite within range, though. It's just... you can't range him.
Oh, God. The Cavalier are cheap, but they die so fast here. Oh, my goodness. This Chakram is just insane. It's 4 base attack, but they do pass-through damage, so they're affecting everything, and there's so many of them. LaaaN repairing his Trebs is also a big thing here, and his Bomber Cannon is sniping Margougou's Trebs.
Margougou's going to attempt to run around with these Cavalier, but he's not taking any good engagements here. Camels are now running away, and the entire army is melting. He's too afraid. He's afraid to take the engagements, and because of it, he spends most of his time just running around taking hits.
He does have a Bomber Cannon.
He hasn't really killed any units whatsoever from LaaaN.
There's a lot of villagers repairing here, right? And LaaaN takes a fight that's not so good. And now Margougou says it's my turn to take some of your Trebs.
Yep, and he's holding.
He is holding.
He's holding. Chakram's trying to take care of that Bomber Cannon. It does take out another Treb.
This is nuts. They've still got those 2 Trebs on the left side. We've got Camels and Chakrams. That's LaaaN's only plan here. He doesn't have any real backup plan. He's taken out all of Margougou's Trebs. And Margougou is going to lose this castle eventually. No, he's got more Bomber Cannons all of a sudden. He could take out the Trebs again.
Now, Chakrams are vulnerable. They're down to a very low number here. And they get hit by a big Bomber Cannon shot. Now the Chakrams are gone. The Trebs are going to be gone. Margougou's held.
This is awesome.
This castle. Sick.
Bomber Cannons were a really big addition here, weren't they? Feels like without the Bomber Cannons, maybe the Trebs would have taken out the castle by now. So we've had 2 separate instances where both players have sunk a lot of stone into repairs. But the castles stand.
LaaaN, you mentioned he had 5,000 gold not too long ago. He's down to 280.
That's rough.
So this is what I was talking about with the Poles, right? They just wear you down, even if you have a better army composition. Now he has to replace Siege. He's got 37 Chakrams in the queue. So that's where most of his gold is right now. But he needs another like 5 tread stack to
Mhm.
push this castle if he wants to continue pushing here. And I think it's too late to mix up the side that you want to go for.
I agree on that. Yeah, I will say this. I like how LaaaN is going for a Hussar mix, but he needs to understand here that Hussar mix isn't going to win this game. You can't out Hussar the pulls, right?
Mhm.
So you've got to still go for that main push. And it's tricky. Like with 5 bomber cannons there from Margougou, can you justify choosing this side? But can you also choose to abandon it and switch to another side? I just don't know.
This is such a fun fight to watch.
Yeah,
just
it's so cool.
yeah. And both players, it feels like they know their win condition, right? LaaaN's just got to push, and Margougou's just got to hold.
Crazy. And I think this is a great opportunity for Margougou to have swung 20 Hussars over to the right side of LaaaN's base. You held, you raid the other side, I think. You don't necessarily need to push. Now, you can still win the game without that raid. And he might feel like he's got LaaaN on the, you know, on the brink of elimination here. But come on, man. You've got to switch that side. That side's so vulnerable. There's overchops.
And there's a
house
gold there,
walls.
too.
Yeah, there's so many reasons to head over to that side. LaaaN needs to stay here. We get that. But if you have 2,000 gold in the bank, just go raid
He's
somewhere
leaving.
else.
He's leaving with the camels. These can be very dangerous. But it's also a risk, and he's deciding now. He's like,
Yeah.
nope, too big of a risk. Coming back. Coming back now. I
And-
do like the expansion, though, from LaaaN. Adding some stables. Got some chakrams over there, too. You go for a bomber cannon to maybe deal with that castle. It's going to be a very slow push, though. Hussar attempting to go in to Margougou's base. They're going to make it in there.
Oh!
There's a few castles they have to be careful about. Nice shots there from the bomber cannon.
Yeah, these chakrams can stack up, and they're really low HP unit, just 50 HP, so they'll die quickly. And LaaaN does get through with a couple Hussars. That'll distract Margougou, but LaaaN needs an answer here, man. He's got 32 Frontier Guard camels. He's got some Hussars in queue. He's got some chakrams, and he unpacks his trebuchets. He's going to go for the fight. Margougou, don't lose these cannons, my friend.
I think he'll lose one of them.
I think it's, yeah, this is well played from Margougou, as long as he saves the cannons.
He doesn't save that one. There's still 3 alive, and he's probably going to lose another.
Ooh.
And the Obuk are falling back, and now the Obuk are in a
Ooh.
rough spot against Chakram, but he does save 2 cannons for the time being. 1 cannon.
Well, if you had like 6 bomber cannons of your own right now in your LaaaN, you could go for the kill, couldn't you? You just
0
immediately follow it
cannons.
up.
He has 2 trebs.
He does have 9 cannons in queue out of these siege workshops. All right, 7, excuse me. Yeah, Treb's in position. Still, LaaaN is so exposed for raids on that right-hand side. He has no castle there. But now Margougou can't focus on that. Now he's kind of made his bed. He's got to lie in it. He's got to react and deal to this. He does well there. Takes out a
Nice.
bomber cannon. Hussars will go in. You like this decision. I can't even see the bomber cannons in this group, but I think one went down. And almost gets the next one. This is so tricky. It feels like maybe Margougou could hold again. He's got another cannon there. He takes out the other trap.
He will. He holds again. Good split there from LaaaN to avoid the bomber cannon shots. As soon as, like, the chakrams are so deadly when you have 40 of them.
Yeah.
But as soon as they get down, they lose half their number. They lose a lot of effectiveness. Like, they're good in mass. If you're below 15 chakrams, you're losing all of them,
Okay,
essentially.
if Margougou loses this game, it's because in moments like this, he doesn't immediately raid the right side. He
Really?
needs
You think
to...
you should raid the right side?
I think he should raid the right freaking side. Yes, I do. And LaaaN, I don't know how he's going to afford it, but he's getting Siege Elephant, and he's going to make some siege on that side, and he could take out that corner from Margougou at any point. And seriously, like, if it's...
Oh, look, he's going.
Is he going? He's going to the
going in the
middle.
middle.
He's going to see the castle and be like, I can't raid him. He's got castles.
You got wind Hussar. You could raid anything.
Yeah, he's going to farm on the right side, so that's closer, I guess. Herbal medicine, I love that tech. Heal up those camels. You're not going to be able to make many of them. Hussars from LaaaN getting into Margougou's economy, but remember, Margougou's got the perfect castle setup to defend from raids. So it is LaaaN who's most vulnerable to raids. But, I mean, Margougou will clear it. Still very interested in when we'll see the Siege Elephants on the right. LaaaN actually doesn't have pop space right now because he has so many other units on the field. But when he's pop capped, notice what he does. He sends Hussars in and raids constantly. That's always what you need to do in late game.
Yep.
If you're not pop capped, it's different. You have to conserve units. But when you're pop capped, Hussars go raid. Everything else you can conserve.
I think the reason Margougou isn't doing that is because he's still building up for a big push. He's got 2 more cannons on the way, and he's got 6 bomber cannons here. So he's gearing up for a massive push. If he distracts, actually, there is a world where he sees all these chakrams here, right? He knows that they're kind of just standing here. If he distracts, land at the same time, he might be able to sneak forward for some massive shots with the bomber cannons.
Yeah, he's kind of luring the chakrams further forward right now. But again, he's got a raid in, right? And so LaaaN has to react to that. So I think Margougou is starting to think about it. On the right side, though, we got some units here from LaaaN. Still can't produce the siege elephants because he's still pop capped. Finally, Margougou gets some precious raids in, and he's going to get back here. He's going to be like, whoa, wow, there's a lot of exposed villagers here. This is amazing for me.
Only you could make demos on this map. Oh, baby.
After a certain period of time, the ice melts, and then you can dock it.
Yeah.
All right.
Sick.
I think LaaaN is starting to realize I need to push this side quickly because now this guy is starting to raid me in areas he should have been raiding me.
Yeah.
And this comes back to the bombard cannon number from Margougou. Whether it's
8.
soon to be offensive or defensive, whatever, it's still perfect.
Well, Margougou killing villagers means that there's more population space for these siege elephants that are coming. But now Margougou shifts.
Yep.
Both players shift over to the right at exactly the same time.
And now the cannon's on the left. Great job from Margougou. He started
so dead
to force reactions from LaaaN. Yeah, there's no way. And the Treb is also dead. And the guy's still got 2k gold.
Yep.
Crazy. He doesn't have to spend gold for anything but cannons right now.
77 on food.
Yep.
Every time he makes a new farm, drops off like how much from crop rotation farm? Is it like 50 or something like that? 60, 70 food, something like that?
I don't know. I just know that it's a lot, and we'll leave it at that. But LaaaN is getting picked apart here. He doesn't have the castle set up. Margougou has finally surpassed LaaaN in villagers killed. And he's finding villager kills on both sides, and now he's pushing where there used to be a castle, pushing those stables. Now all your new Hussars and your old books go to this area with your bombard cannons. Grind LaaaN down. Take the win. LaaaN's in the middle right now. I was wondering where the chakrams were. Okay.
He's pushing.
Yeah, 2 trebs. It's such an uncomfortable feeling, though. You don't want to just be there with 2 trebs, but you got to just hope for the best.
Margougou buys stones so he can repair.
LaaaN does have 100 Hussars in queue, so we should point that out. That's a lot of Hussars.
Oh, the poor siege elephants dying on the right side.
Yep.
Oh, boy, that's a big investment. Bomber cannon's really exposed for the time being. Maybe the camels can swoop in and get those. Maybe the Hussar as well. Margougou has to protect them, but LaaaN's got a big ball of military right in the dead center of this map, and Margougou is now heading over with his bombard cannons. Oh, boy. Oh, God.
Protect them! Please protect the cannons! Protect the cannons! You're going for attack grounds here.
The camels are coming in. There's more Hussar coming in from the other side. No!
No, he's gone too far! What a game! And the castle for Margougou will likely fall. He's going to use this opportunity to try and take the trebs, but... God, he made so many cannons. Oh, what a painful loss. Don't tell me LaaaN's still going to do this. This guy has 1 castle, 2. Okay, I can't count. To defend from raids.
It's a big shot on the chalk rooms with the cannon, but still. Castle forward is dead. 116 winged Hussar in the queue. 134 Hussar in the queue for LaaaN.
And more cannons for Margougou.
It's funny how, like, Margougou has not even a terrible KD against this.
Yeah, it's okay.
All things considered. Yeah. Shows how strong winged Hussar are, I think.
And I think he's happy with the situation because he's raiding on the right side. And if he just clears up this big ball of chakrams, he will take this game. But he just can't seem to find the proper engagements. And LaaaN is just a beast. LaaaN has 157 Hussars in queue. That Shatra's unique tech that makes the food cost 20% or 25% cheaper is just insane for Hussar late game. Also, 74 kills on this tiny group of 39 units here. This unit is really strong. Also, no relics now for Margougou.
I'm amazed we've reached a point where this is the pivotal area of the map
now. The ice, exactly.
Yeah, the middle where nothing is, basically.
Margougou still has so many castles on the sides. It's so uncomfortable to do, but I really think Margougou needs to send a wave of Hussars to the left eco. To the right side, he still has units. It's just now getting cleared up. You got to take out 20, 30 villagers from land so he can't make more Hussars. Hope for the best. But he's just still giving this so much power, and he takes an engagement. Oh my god, the units are all lined up for these chakrams. Say goodbye,
Bomber
old book.
cannons from behind. Bomber cannons from behind. The Trebs might be cleared up. Finally, the Trebs are cleared up. Bomber cannons might get some big shots on the chakrams. Obuk clearing up the Hussar.
All right. So now you can't push if you're land. He will use the Hussars after the cannons. He has to fall back. And so you can no longer push. The relics will come back in for Margougou. He is making a monk for those. Great defense from Margougou. Land is cleared up the right side. Look at all the Hussars. Just zoom out and look at the middle. Look at all the units just spam to the middle of the map. It's amazing.
Yep.
But I still love the fact that Margougou's headed to the left.
Big shots with the bomber cannon.
These are some weak chakrams as well, Dave. They're all very weak. 854 HP on 32 units.
All it takes is one surround from the winged hussar, and that trample damage is going to start doing work on these things.
I know LaaaN has a lot of hussars in queue, and I know the chakram is strong, but the position is still maintained for Margougou. He's got 82 on food with winged hussars. He just needs to choose to raid those corners consistently, and eventually LaaaN will no longer have eco. Corner control is massive here. Also, still gold. There's been 2 villagers taking gold. Like, Margougou hasn't needed it, but it's kind of funny.
I know. 800 gold left on the map.
Do you agree, though? You think Margougou takes this game? It might take another 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I've been saying it since the beginning.
Yeah, I think he's played towards late game with his castles perfectly. And LaaaN is played incredibly well, but I just don't see what he can do with not being on 5 relics or something. Feels extremely difficult.
I don't want to be that guy, but it might be a wood game.
I'd be a little surprised just because I have so much faith in Margougou's position, but you're not wrong. That's essentially what corner control means right now, right? Farms, but also lumberjacks. Look at where LaaaN's chopping wood. He's like chopping wood in the middle of the map. He's just creating bigger holes in his walls.
Chopping wood in the middle, like on the ice?
Haha. Hussars to the left. Margougou, great fight. It's because these chakrams have gone to the right. This is fine for you if you're Margougou because you know about it. You've got castles behind all that. Just keep picking your spots here. You got 2 castles for LaaaN. They're kind of in the same position, and now these chakrams who are probably tired and want to break today, they're just going to loop back over to the left now.
They have a lot of kills, these units. 99 kills, those chakrams.
And he's still making more of them. And he's got 170 hussars in queue. But it's when your vill count dips to around 80 is when you really start to struggle here. Because it will also be funny because if Margougou takes out that many villagers, then suddenly LaaaN's going to have 120, 130 army. But in the long run, you shouldn't be able to afford to make hussars if you're LaaaN once you get raided like that. Great walls there from Margougou.
Dude, these hussars are about to get slayed by the chakrams. But if they get close, that splash damage can do work, and they turn around. They turn around. They nope right out of there.
How does LaaaN have 86 on food? It's all in that corner, I guess, in the south.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy.
He's got a fantastic eco. He even bought himself 100 more stone to place another TC on the wood line. Only 240 wood currently, but he doesn't really need wood. He does have crop rotation. He got that early as well.
Yep.
So he was planning from the late game from the beginning, and it served him really well here.
Oh, man. Hussar still running in, just forcing the issue here. If LaaaN wins this game, it's because of all this work. He's behind, but he just still tries to get those kills in. And honestly, if he finds the northern corner, look how many villagers are there. Oh, my God. Oh, the quick walls from Margougou. He traps him. And the bombard cannon's getting hits on the hussars, too. It's the perfect spot for those hussars to be. What a play from Margougou.
Bro.
Nice save.
Bro, that was sick, dude.
So Chakram's on the left. He's still back at it. Still defending their people. Getting tons of kills. We have 200 hussars now queued up for LaaaN in all of his stables. And he sees more bombard cannons, and he's going to snipe the bombard cannons with his hussars, of course. What more would you expect from the guy?
Trying to get big shots on the chakrams. Oh, it was close. It was so close, dude. Every time I think he's going to get a big shot,
I know.
one step away.
And Dave, it's that right-hand side. This is where the raids are starting now. Look at the amount on wood. I guess it's not that high for Margougou either. But he has access to wood. And it's 13... 11 on wood now for LaaaN and 200 wood in the bank. And we could start checking some of his farms. Because he has crop rotation, there's a lot of food on them. But eventually,
okay.
he will
I'll
run
let
out.
you go through. I'll let you go through and manually click every single farm to see how much food is.
Yeah, I
left
mean,
on them.
some of them are at around 200. So I think we would probably, at like 1 hour, 20 minutes or 1 hour, 25, that's when we'll start to see the amount on food for LaaaN change. But, dude, losing that TC on the right is so rough for him right now. He really needed that one. He just can't push. He can survive, but he just cannot push Margougou. Margougou will win this game. Margougou had 7 wins and 8 losses in the group stage. 3rd place in his group. LaaaN had 11 wins and 4 losses. 2nd place in his group. And Margougou will likely, if this game goes according to how we think it's going to go, Margougou will go up a game on LaaaN in this best-of-5 decider.
Oh my god. Margougou's winged hussar just feeding themselves into that little choke point in between these 2 stables.
Yep.
And these chakrams are feasting. 177 kills on those chakrams now.
And again, I'll repeat what you said earlier. It's actually a surprise that the KD isn't better for LaaaN right now.
Yeah, it is. It is. Shows how good winged hussar are. Like, the winged hussar are just convincingly winning every fight against the hussar. It's the chakrams that are doing the damage.
All right, well, maybe someone's arm fell asleep, or they have to go pee, or drink some water. But we have a pause here. Margougou unpauses now. Margougou's still making cannons on the side. So he still wants to push. What would you think about, like, some capped ram on the right? I know, actually, Poles get siege ram. Siege ram on the right would be a really good idea, I think.
Like setting up the workshops, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then you just see like what their reaction is going to be.
Getting guilds early was a smart move from Margougou. I didn't catch if LaaaN did that.
Oh my god, bro, these chakrams.
Can you imagine, though, if Margougou would have lost this castle, how exposed he
would
would
have
be?
been completely different here.
Yeah.
No wood access over here, no farming eco over here, nothing. And suddenly the raids are way more viable.
Yep.
LaaaN, that was a great hold on that castle from Margougou, and he's committed onto bomber cannon. It's so hard to hold that area. Probably made like 20 different bomber cannons. Game is paused again.
It's not paused for
Game is
me.
back again. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Just
at
momentary.
119.42. I'm sure we're at the same spot.
42, eh?
Did LaaaN lose all those stables on the right? I guess he did. It feels like they all disappeared at the same time.
He lost them, yeah.
Yeah.
The O-Book have been killing.
Yeah, it was a slow crawl, and I'd noticed some of them, but I just noticed the empty spots on the minimap, which looks kind of funny.
He was like weirdly pausing and then speeding up.
Really?
And freezing again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's... I don't want to say it's smooth on my end, but it is running. So I've noticed with pausing, because there's been a couple live sets where players have paused over this week, that sometimes it doesn't run as smooth afterwards, which sucks.
So LaaaN's got a treb.
One single treb.
260 hussar queued. At some point, you have to unqueue the hussar and start selling your food, you know? Even if it's for 14 gold a pop. Do Gajars get guilds? I know Poles get guilds.
Yeah, I know Margougou has done it. I haven't seen LaaaN use the market, so I'm not actually sure.
I'm page upping. I can't see any
I did the
market
same.
usage from LaaaN, dude. Nothing.
Oh, and big
Nothing
shots
at
from the
all.
bomber cannons here, Dave. This is going to be so difficult to
Chakrams
to afford.
down. No, Chakrams.
And the Treb, too. The Treb is just as important here. And maybe
all
this is
dead.
where we see the GG called?
We're all dead.
Yeah,
Everything's
you
dead.
can't survive anymore. LaaaN should know this now, right? He's known that he's behind a long time. He probably had this feeling of, I wish this guy would kill me. He'll absolutely fight. He's got tons of hussars in the queue, but Margougou finally killing the chakrams. Bomber cannons finally paying off. He just slowly grinded his opponent down here.
What a great game.
Yep. Awesome game. And a great response
played out
from Margougou.
exactly like we thought it was going to as well.
Well, if the game goes Castle Age into a boom, Poles have yet to lose here. We've seen polls win against Chinese, polls win against humans, like polls win against a lot of different civs. Granted, the gameplay does matter, and credit should be given to Margougou for finally focusing on those corners, because remember, initially, he really tried to force the issue in the middle. But yeah, Margougou continues to use the market to get gold, too.
Yeah, and LaaaN is not. LaaaN has 16 chakrams again.
Okay.
Maybe we'll see him use the market to queue up a few more here.
And he somehow has 93 on food, which is more than he's ever had. So, still could be making more Hussars. I feel like taking out stables and the TC and everything else with your bombard cannons would be really valuable here.
He doesn't have guilds. He doesn't have guilds.
Ah, there we go.
If Gujaris can get it or not, but he doesn't have guilds.
Yeah. One of those things that probably would have paid off already, regardless. Like
bombard cannons, big shots. Nice dodge.
Yeah, chakrams are clearly a good unit, but there's nothing quite as sweet as being able to spam winged Hussars out of however many stables he's producing out of and have it all cost food, right? Late game, it's all about having good Hussars and good corner control, and big raid here on the left-hand side. That is the majority, if not all, of LaaaN's wood income, and he will lose most of those villagers. He will kill bombard cannons from Margougou, but Margougou will just be right back with more after this.
LaaaN has been repairing a house against Obuk forever on the right.
He's still doing that.
like they at this point, do you think they know each other's names?
You'd hope so. Oh man, 2 on wood now. I think the frustration must set in as well. Losing this type of game sucks. It sucks to lose a game that goes on for this long, especially when you might finish the game and your KD is going to be stronger, but I don't even know if that would be the case anymore.
KD's switching, dude.
Yep.
The KD has switched. Oh my god, that was a fast turnaround. As soon as the chakrams are gone, suddenly the winged Hussar just roll over everything. He does have chakrams on the hill again, though. And he's got 16 of them. He could sell the wood or the food that's in the queue and get more, but he's been pretty reluctant to do so far.
Yeah, I think it's hard to know that you have 173 Hussars in queue. You know you have a lot of Hussars in queue, but it's hard to think about like canceling some of those to sell right now.
Uh-oh, chakrams.
Good micro. Yeah, good micro. He has to continually do this, though, which is really frustrating, I'm sure. But he keeps his chakrams alive. LaaaN was up to 100 farmers a second ago. He's on 84 now. But he still doesn't have a lot of wood income. I'm going to click the farms again here, Dave. Let's see.
No, he's had to garrison because the Obuk got in. So
oh,
that's why.
okay. Yeah, a lot of these farms will be reseeded over the next 5 minutes. But he does have 1,000 wood, so he can reseed some of them.
This is Margougou's wood situation look like? He's still got a big old... Yeah, he's got plenty of wood available.
Yeah, and he's got castles around other wood lines.
Mm-hmm.
If you just click some of his castles, Dave... 40 kills, 16 kills, so many kills on these castles. And then some of the castles, just their existence has meant that LaaaN hasn't even tried to raid. All right, well, the house that was being repaired earlier has now gone down. So that's going to be an avenue for Margougou to raid more, and LaaaN just sitting here like, oh my goodness, I don't want to call it quits. This is so important for me. I need to win this series and get to platinum. But he has never gotten up to 30 chakrams again, Dave. And again, eventually, he will be out of resources. Yeah, that is true. Margougou not having ballistics on those castles, that's a pretty big deal. That's normally something you want to have.
Well, it doesn't matter now, because LaaaN hasn't even seen those castles in a while.
Yep, exactly.
Chakrams should do friendly fire.
Dude, if chakrams did friendly fire, I don't think the unit would be very good.
Everything would die.
Yeah, I don't think the unit would be very good then.
I don't think so either.
That would also open up the door for a lot of other things to do friendly fire.
No, dude, make him do 20 damage a shot, but it does friendly fire.
Yikes.
And they have half the amount of HP, so it's like a super glass cannon. It's the nuclear option. They'd have 25 HP. It's like a non-loomed build that does friendly fire, but does 20 damage with pass-through damage.
Raids continue here on the left. If you could call it a raid at this point, I'm not entirely sure. I guess it's just a battle. And occasionally Margougou will send some units into the main farming eco of LaaaN I'm still clicking farms. I'm still waiting. Obviously, you've got lots of food on many of these farms, but they are starting to get to a point where they need to be reseeded. But he placed a few more, so he's now out of wood as well. He's got 10 on wood in the... Yeah, on that right side. So he's basically over-chopping his wall, so he's more vulnerable for raids. Crazy hold here from LaaaN. And, I mean, the score's still there. You're still making chakrams. I think he will have the game sense to know that if this continues, he will die, but you have to make sure that your opponent actually finishes you off. Especially when you've worked this hard. You played so long here, you don't want to resign until your population's like 130.
Yep.
At the highest, probably.
You don't want to resign a max pop ever.
Yeah.
Basically.
Especially when you have units in queue. But you notice the unit amount in queue has gone way down, and now the farms are expiring. He's at 60 on food. Also, we did garrison quite a bit.
Garrisoning village.
Yeah, but the farms are expiring too, okay? Farms are expiring too. I still keep waiting. I wanted to look like a genius. Like, look, Dave, 30 farms expired. But no, crop rotation's OP, bro. Yeah, he's adding more vills. 86 on food again. There you go. Another lumber camp on the right.
And starting to buy wood. Bad sign.
Ooh, yeah, that's not a good sign at all. Margougou is finally out of gold. It took him a very long time to be out of gold because he was so casual about it on the right side. But again, 3 relics. And he has more on food. He has more wood income. And Winged Hussar is better than... It's not only just better than regular Hussar, but it's much better than Gurjara Hussar because Gurjara Hussar lack Blast Furnace. So...
They are cheaper, though, so that's something.
Yeah, that is something, and that's probably a big reason why LaaaN has been able to do so well in this game. Margougou immediately spotted everything on the right. A great job from him. I was really concerned for Margougou because we know his strengths. I was concerned that he wasn't going to know how to play that late game and prioritize those corners. Oh, man.
Feels like LaaaN just hit a town bell.
Seriously.
Did you see all those villagers move at exactly the same time?
I didn't hear about
town bell, dude.
Capsrage would actually play it.
Okay.
I'm looking at their idle eco counts right now as this is happening because both players had to garrison a lot, but 160 pop for LaaaN. He has 53 on food. That might change after he ungarrisons out of some of these TCs, but I'm seeing some more barren spots on the farms. And Margougou was able to thwart the raid. Margougou adding Olbuk now. We're at 1 hour and 35 minutes. We'll have potentially 3 more games after this. This might be the longest game in Titans League this season. Certainly the longest one I've covered. Margougou wants to do it, man. It's been a great response ever since game 1. LaaaN not wanting to quit shows how serious he takes it. We were kind of running out of things to say, but now finally we see more farmers dying here. 89 villagers for LaaaN.
35 on food right now.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of those garrison. 15 on wood and 80. Now 79, 78. Just watch that number drop. And it'll keep dropping. And he's got to be careful with these chakrams because if he's not paying attention, he loses this mass. He loses all the hope he has remaining.
Yep, good job here from Margougou. He hit the middle and he hit the left at the same time. And then he finally saw the chakrams and just pulled away with his Olbuk. Also, house walling. Ballistics, again, would be extremely helpful here. He could lose villagers, but the pathing's not helping LaaaN. I'm sure he clicked back there a couple times. But he just sends his own Hussars.
124 Hussar now for LaaaN because he lost so many villagers.
Okay, so
not Hussar, but military.
Military, yeah.
So this is the last gasp, I think. This is the push.
Yep. If Margougou defends from this, once that military dies off, I don't think LaaaN's going to be able to add more. He actually has 0 units in queue now. Sorry, military units, that is.
And no siege to follow up this push.
Yep.
So it's like a Flemish Revolution kind of thing, right?
Yeah, almost. Except your unit's actually worse. I think it'd be better to have Flemish militia against these Hussars. It's just such a rough economy here. He's really trying, man. Palisade walling the right side right now just so he can get some wood. Like, not that we've questioned his effort here. And Margougou continues to do the same thing. More Hussars. Also, 1,600 kills for Margougou. We've just crossed total of 3,000 kills in this entire game, collectively, between each player. Dang, what a great job from Margougou. The walling and the quick walling when some of these raids have come in has been really good. I didn't highlight that enough. LaaaN continues to try and get through. He might get through.
In the little ice path. Oh, I thought he was going to get stuck in the ice path. He is through.
A bit of a CBA. Oh, God! LaaaN just house-walled in the Hussars from Margougou next to the castle in the middle. That's one way to deal with the Hussars.
This is why we're playing the old patch, because on the new patch they would have just walked through the
they would get stuck in the houses. Exactly. 160 nice. Pop. Okay, LaaaN, you're still doing it, buddy.
74 vills, 26 chakrams still on the field right now. 106 kills on those bad boys. He just has no siege to follow up.
Yeah, no siege to follow up.
And there's Wingdasar coming from the right too. Yeah.
Like I was just checking to see where's Margougou getting wood. He can get wood on the right, but he's also got quite a bit of wood left between these two castles on the left. But if there were 4 bomber cannons for LaaaN and he was pushing that castle, who knows what could happen in this game? But still, the unit queue's
Camels, camels from LaaaN. We haven't seen I haven't seen a camel in
since I was a boy.
Years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's so desperate. He needs more pop efficiency than anything right now, and maybe 5 to 10 camels could help him clear up the winged hussars on the right. That's his wood income right now. And Margougou just loops around. Perfect stuff, Margougou. Go right to the wood line.
House walls that you can't afford. There you go.
Boom. Boom.
Bop, bop, bing, bop, boom.
There's got to be a hole there, surely.
There's no hole. There's no hole.
Nope. Well, Margougou will be back in, 5 minutes when that's over chopped. Camels on the right side. Hussars still attacking houses. Been lots of instances where LaaaN is repaired.
Repairing those houses over there. Those specific houses have been repaired so much. And the camels are now destroying the winged hussar.
Yep.
They have frontier guards. There's no Obuk to strip off that armor.
LaaaN's just like, I will not quit. You're going to have to finish me off.
Oh no, he deleted a house to make the lumber camp more efficient on the left.
Rip.
And he let him in.
Rip.
He let him in. Finish the lumber camp quickly. Drop off your wood.
I think we actually will see the GG now. I think he cannot get above 150 pop again. And I think this is where he finally realizes it's over. Such a good game from Margougou. He played towards the super late game. Prioritized the castle positions there. The bombard cannon defense on this left side was the most impressive aspect. He did go a little crazy with the bombard cannons at times. He kind of treated the bombard cannons like hussars for a while, but he still got the numbers when he needed them. And he also benefited from getting those 3 relics in the mid game. And he also played with a really awkward map. That the starting map for Margougou was like, had he messaged me and said, hey, can we restart this because my gold's kind of bugged with the weird ice thing, I would have been like, yeah, whatever. Sure. But he hung in there. He played it very strong. This will be 2 straight wins for him. LaaaN still not wanting to call it quits. 145 population. Also, Margougou's killed 275 villagers this game. Which is hilarious to me. Did you see the Kingston and Ganji series?
I did not.
Okay, so in like an hour-long Arabia game, Ganji had killed 350 villagers from Kingston. And so it's funny to me how this game is like twice as long. And still, even though 275 is a lot of the big shot there.
That was a massive shot on
and
the
another
chakrams.
one, too.
Right as LaaaN, it keeps adding in more chakrams, but that bombard cannon is just attacking them with impunity. And he's going to push those back, and he needs to be very careful with these units.
Yeah, this must be fun. This is like dodgeball right now. He's wrecking them.
How many kills on that? 23 kills on that bombard cannon. Oh, boy.
And still...
And now they're stacked up again. They're stacked up again. They're stacked up again. He's attacking the castle, but maybe he can hit the chakrams. Chakrams go inside.
Yeah, I mean, but the place that they're hiding is within a castle that's going to be destroyed by the bombard cannon. There's another bombard cannon from Margougou as well. And it's now 130 pop for LaaaN. We've known that he's been dead for a long time, but he's wanted to make Margougou earn this and just make sure And this
Dude,
could
he's still fighting on. Like,
Yeah.
he's pulling his villagers away from the raids.
crazy.
He's not just focusing on the main battle. He calls the GG here. Margougou wins that one, and that was a slog. I think both players realized where that was going as soon as they hit imp, and they had 4 TCs each. But Poles win again.
Okay, so quick math. 2,000 and we'll just say 2,400 something hussars in that game. Not counting the camels, obviously, and everything else. The hussars accounted for a lot of the units that were in that game. LaaaaaN did make more of them, and we know why he was able to make more of them, because it was so cheap for his civ. But Margougou had that late game control. Such a great job from him. Honestly, that one castle on the left side, him sinking 1,000 stone into repairing that and holding that position probably changed this game. Not every day you see a game that long. Not every day you see a player with top score resign. And it is a bit of an unexpected situation for LaaaaaN. He was 11-4 in his group. He actually won every series in gold. Margougou won 2 sets and lost 3 and had 7 wins and 8 losses, but still made it to the playoffs. Margougou's 1 win away from moving on to platinum, believe it or not. Crazy, crazy. LaaaaaN playing as the Mayans here, game number 4. If he does not win it, he's back in Gold League for the next season, and it is Margougou who moves up to plat. The map looks pretty good for walls for LaaaaaN. However, that gold is going to be questionable. And then you look at Margougou's... Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I really want to hear what MBL said.
He's saying the handbook said it wasn't allowed.
I find that hard to believe.
You don't even know your own hand. We need to know. We need to know, because if MBL is right on something and Tristan is not on his own tournament, this is shambles.
It would be shambles.
This is actually game breaking right here.
What if MBL read the wrong tournament's handbook? I'm pretty sure it's allowed.
Season 1.
I'm pretty sure it's allowed. No, I think season 1 it was allowed as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is a gold like this for LaaaaaN allowed?
Yeah,
it's
for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's especially rough if you're Mayans here, right? I think actually what makes it worse is the fact that his other golds aren't really that good either. Normally you have like a gold like Margougou, for example, towards the back. I mean, that's awkward if you're walling, but a good map for Margougou here. Okay, JBR is now quoting the rules. Players are permitted to do anything with the game that the game allows, including but not limited to walling in resources, blocking or killing villagers, and killing enemy herdable or wild animals. Okay, so my question is, what was MBL reading?
The Nomad rules?
True. He's probably reading the Nomad rules, yeah. I don't know. This isn't pick on MBL day, but MBL saying weight laming's allowed after how the season went for him is kind of classic. So I love you, MBL. So Eagle coming. Anyway. Oh my god. LaaaaaN. Okay, if he would have found those sheep, that would have been like Slam versus God. Who was it? It was Slam versus someone in the first season where he lost the game because he lost 5 sheep in Dark Age. That would have been brutal.
Yeah, I think I remember that one. Okay, so now we can actually talk about the game now that we've got that sorted out.
I'm trying my best.
Incredibly open map here from Margougou. And we were talking about how Chinese need to defend. He can wall to his TC, but super exposed gold and super exposed gold for LaaaaaN. But LaaaaaN should be the aggressor with Mayans. Should be.
Yeah, it's always tricky. I mean, both civs are somewhat defensive, but it's just having that eagle, early militia play or man-at-arm play can be strong. But I mean, especially with this map too. But you kind of hope that you have a better gold position at the very least. LaaaaaN isn't going to go for a drush. He does know what MBL's base looks like. MBL, God, look what we've done. He does know what Margougou's base looks like. He sees the berries. He sees that deer is being pushed in and denies it. So he'll be able to game plan a bit here.
MBL in Gold League 1 season too early.
Jokes aside, though, I really think that, like, we've seen some crazy fire from people in gold to get to platinum because they might feel like they deserve to be there or the opportunity's there. And people like MBL and Vinch and Nikov, all those guys going down, I think obviously it's going to be frustrating for them initially, but I think it actually is very good for them because they'll be like, I've got to deliver, I've got to be on point, and maybe read the rule book to allow myself to be in a better position. I think it'll be good for
Road
the
to
scene.
Silver League. Twitch.tv/MBL AOC.
Now that would
Watch
be
it in 6
something
months
else.
from now.
Yeah, that would be something else.
Yeah.
So, nothing crazy here this game, really. I mean, we've seen the eagle move forward. The Chinese rarely do anything real fancy here at the start. 30 seconds of TC idle time. It's maybe a bit later than what the ideal Chinese starts are these days, but that's still fine. Margougou not showing any signs that he wants to wall, at least just yet. He tries to drop off the food there. And there he goes to the feudal age. The LaaaN will do the same. He's now trying to push in deer. He'll get a hit there on the scout from Margougou. And I assume it's going to be Drushman, but like that gold is just horrible if you're Mayans. It's fine if you're Chinese because you can go scouts, you can go skirms, but just the worst possible situation. If you make a mistake here, you're back in gold league.
It's like maximum difference, or sorry, maximum distance, not difference, but distance, and it's under a hill and it's forward.
Yep.
It's just like the worst possible situation. You look at his secondaries, they're not that much better. Like they're super far away. So we'll see how he decides to deal with this. I think he's probably going to try and make the production buildings in front of it, but that it's not really a possibility if Margougou has any sort of military going forward and deals with this drush early, right? Second militia on the way already. And third on the way. So it's going to be men-at-arms from LaaaN expected.
So
archer range follow-up.
I'm not loving what I'm seeing from Margougou right now. It looks like he's trying to go man-at-arms himself. He didn't go to gold in time, so he won't be able to time the third militia. He also didn't scout the gold, so he doesn't know about any of this. And he is going to see now that there's 3 militia coming and that the eagle's there. But if it's a man-at-arm engagement, it's going to be much better here for LaaaN. And maybe Margougou just wants to take the fight.
That was good hits on the eagle initially. He got 2 free hits there once he hit feudal age. Feudal age is now in for LaaaN. And at least he's buying himself some time.
Yep.
These militia aren't moving forward, so he won't have men-at-arms all over him. It gives him some time to wall off his own base. And he's already started on the walls right now.
LaaaN, don't chase that. I know your map's garbage, but you got to go home here. Not go home, excuse me. You got to go forward.
He might just be waiting for the archer range to be up.
Yeah, maybe.
Archer in production. Maybe go for a spear. Even a spearman here would be nice, right?
He canceled man-at-arms here. I mean, I guess had he arrived to Margougou's base, Margougou might have been walled anyways, but I think sometimes you just got to take the aggressive approach if the map looks like this. Margougou won't know that there are no other golds in the back right now. But then again, he does see pretty clearly that the gold in the front's being taken, so he could pressure that.
Kill the deer. Kill the deer. He doesn't kill the deer.
Kill the scout? Ooh. Eagle Scout survives to heal up in the TC. Nice.
Kill the deer. So many people go up for these deer now. Like with 3 or 4 villagers. Just kill him while you're there. He doesn't. Okay, cool.
Horse color now from Margougou. All things considered, very good, clean start. His gold also is the most vulnerable area of his economy right now. Both players making ranged units. Margougou will get the walls down, and the more the walls go down, the more you start to favor the Chinese position.
Archer is now out from Margougou. He'll be perfectly safe. And he goes for 1 palisade wall, and not much damage to be done here from LaaaN. But he does have an advantage in the fletching timing, so maybe he can find some value.
Yep, not moving forward
he still
at the
has
moment.
the militia alive, at least.
Yeah.
So they're still distracting and holding this military at home. And that every second he can keep Margougou in his own base is 1 second he's not on this horrific goal at the front of his base. So that's kind of a win, right?
I think both players might actually fall into towers at some point in this game. Like if you want to be aggressive, which I guess LaaaN should be, you do leave yourself exposed. And okay, LaaaN's towering now. I'm a little surprised it's this early, but I mean, he's blind to the rest of that ranged army from Margougou.
You're going to need one there anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's only the best possible case scenario where you don't tower that.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can play towards it.
Okay, so he'll see... For the time being, Margougou doesn't have fletching, but Margougou will complete fletching right after this. Margougou's scout could have gone forward to try and track things there. Didn't do it. But he's just sitting on his gold, and I think it's just because he's Chinese, right? If it was like, some mediocre civilization against Mayans, he probably goes forward, but he knows he should just
from LaaaN.
be careful. LaaaN wants that Vil so bad.
I know he
Margougou with the
does.
save. Margougou with the save. With the plays, no. It goes down. Actually, very well played from LaaaN there. He also killed the scout from Margougou. And I don't think Margougou saw what was being made there. But it is skirmishers, and those skirmishers are now coming forward.
Really good opening here from Margougou. He takes the villager. He kills the scout, so the army's not being tracked, like you said. Now he's got fletching. He's up on the hill here. Margougou also got fletching himself. Be interested to see whether LaaaN opts to go for the armor here.
Yeah, I would personally really like the armor. Look at the grouping and the confidence here from LaaaN as he pushes forward here. He knows he could take these fights right now. Margougou has lost his scout. He's been very lackluster with the scouting in general and just been very reactive here. And here we go. Big micro moment. No armor coming in for LaaaN.
Second archer range for LaaaN, though.
There's a tower from Margougou, though I have to say I hate the positioning of it for so many different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
He's
run...
like trying to get it to protect his gold and farms at the same time, but
Yeah.
like, you have to run around the mining camp to garrison in that, right? So there's a lot of bumping involved, and then LaaaN can just sit on the other side of your gold as well.
Yep. LaaaN, I think will... Oh, I didn't actually see the tower. But yeah, in Castle Age, this tower does nothing for you to protect that gold because the ranged units will just pick off your villagers. Margougou does see the golds behind his base, but he's walled them out.
There's a risk here for Margougou. If he goes too far forward, loses like 2 or 3 archers, LaaaN has double range production, although he's housed right now.
Yep.
Now he has the armor. He can push even under that tower or just around that tower.
Yep. I think you do get worried if you're...
Margougou's going to struggle.
I think you do get worried if you're LaaaN right now that you see the tower and you're going double range because you're just thinking that you might be late to Castle Age. So with this map, you just plop a market down here and try and help yourself out.
Or Margougou could go for a stable here. There it is. Okay. I like that.
I'm not
Stable for him.
I'm not actually sure I like the stable play because you're
No,
not
you make
against
the stable
archers.
and you make like 2 scouts. And then you go up anyway.
Well, I guess we'll see. He does use
it's
skirms
good.
in defense, which is really nice. And he's going to send the archers forward. LaaaN is walled in towards the TC, though, and also in towards the gold.
He's going double stable.
What? That's for knights. That's got to be for knights. There's no way he's going to make
But it's so
scouts.
early, dude. It's so early.
Yeah. It's super early.
Crazy. And like, if you place double stable there, what if LaaaN comes and sees that? And then you're just telegraphing exactly what you're going to do. Maybe it might... I don't know. It's going to wait till he clicks up.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, I mean, going skirm and going knight is what Chinese would normally want to do. But gold is required for the upgrades and for the numbers we're talking about. And both players are now on the way up. Margougou has found it terribly difficult to damage LaaaN in this game. But this is kind of a random army. Will LaaaN notice this? Oh, I thought Margougou was going to run through there. It chose not to. And look how annoying LaaaN has been on this wood line. He's like, I'll go to the left, I'll go to the right. Which one are you going to try and stop?
Does Margougou queue up scouts in the transition here?
He does.
There we go. Cool.
Still not the
So
biggest fan, but I get he's currently thinking I need an answer to all those skirms, which is true.
So for LaaaN, he stick on the archer range approach. Does he transition? Can't say it. The thing into eagles?
I think...
Or does he just go for a siege workshop forward?
Currently, I think he's happy to just go crossbowman and go skirm. I think the only thing that'll be weird for him is he doesn't know it's going to be knights for Margougou.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, oh god, this is an awful fight for LaaaN. Holy crap. He's micring on the other side, and now the scout makes so much sense for Margougou. Oof. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think if his gold wasn't so far forward, he would just boom. But his gold being forward might mean he needs more aggression, and as you said, Dave, you kind of got to play the map here, so maybe he'll regret not going more aggressive.
Archers, not seeing the 2 archers for Margougou sneaking their way past. They could be a little bit annoying, as Margougou is kind of in no man's land here with his skirmishers, but there's nothing to be done about it yet from LaaaN. He's going to have to wait for his upgrades to come in. Margougou immediately elite skirm, Bodcanero, wood upgrade, and queues up a couple knights and goes for a defensive siege workshop of his own. So he's just trying to survive.
Yeah, I like the siege workshop a lot here. You could argue the skirms are enough on their own, and that's true, but I don't really think that he can combine knights with skirms and have the upgrades, and that gold is just so important to defend right now. But I also love the opening from LaaaN, and it's really aggressive. He's gone for elite skirm, and he's gone for crossbow.
This was like Hidden Cup. I would say LaaaN was Margougou. If he adds a third archer range, it'd be like, that's Margougou. Right there.
Yeah.
He's going for barracks and he's hiding them. So he's making that transition right now. I said it that time. Yes.
Yeah, that's good. But, you know, the timing on it's going to be a bit awkward here, right? And if the knights from Margougou just run in, could be problematic. But how good from LaaaN to full wall it? So many people don't full wall there, and then 2 knights run in. And then you have a problem on your wood line.
I have to wonder, like, why are you going for the university if you're going to add 2 barracks as well?
Yeah.
After.
It's kind of, he's trying to do too many things right now. But can you blame him, right? He hasn't done a significant amount of damage to Chinese. He's down 2-1 in a best of 5. He is keeping Margougou on the run, but Margougou's got tons of food and wood, and he's got his gold access, which is what he needed the most. And those skirms are going to be able to maybe trap the army from LaaaN as well. This is a really bad position for LaaaN right now. He's ventured way too far back here.
Oh, God. Oh, there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to go. These are +2 skirms. He's going to have a hill now, too.
There's no ballistics for either player.
For Margougou, but it feels like Margougou could just scatter formation, patrol in now.
Yeah.
And he'd find a lot of value.
The eagle transitions normally happening while you're on the way to the next stage. We've had 1 villager kill in this game. That has been LaaaN against Margougou. It was those 3 archers earlier. At the very least, I think you pull your crossbows behind your skirms here if you're LaaaN. And obviously, this is to set up the next attack, and that next attack is going to happen in the middle.
He's been on point with the timing on his movement with the crossbows and skirms, but he's just unfortunate. They keep grouping up into the shot.
Dude, the wolf is so OP. Don't you dare click that wolf. Don't you dare click that wolf, LaaaN. The wolf is here to help. He saw your map at the start, and he feels bad. Oh, man. Knights have to go back. I mean, if LaaaN were to go forward with the eagles and crossbows now, assuming he gets upgrades, there's a lot of free taking in the middle. That Mangonel would be an easy pick. But yeah, skirms will get dealt with by the knights. This is a lot of army from Margougou. He's adding the second TC on the gold, and it's just like LaaaN's army count is so low here, Dave.
Yeah,
so low.
He can get ballistics theoretically soon and keep crossbow production coming out. But he needs to toss some more on gold, and he's got too much wood in the bank currently as well. So Eco is a little bit
this is such
all
a bad
over the place
fight
for
too.
what he needs.
Oh, and it's a decent shot from Margougou. Margougou does fall back. You need Eagle Warrior, you need Squires, you need more upgrades, you need more numbers here if you're LaaaN. I think was planning on a Town Center edition. Oh, big fight before Eagle Warrior.
Skirms were weak from before, but they're not that weak, and the Knights are just clearing up all the Eagles. The Skirms are going to clear up the crossbow, and suddenly there's no Eagles at all. There's no Eagles at all here, and there's no crossbows at all.
And it's 10 Knights for Margougou, and if the crossbows would have stayed alive, if had the eagles and the crossbows fallen back to the tower, you know, you did have some coverage there, but he forced the fight, feeling the pressure, and Margougou is looking more and more like he's in a position to win this game. He's going for the 3rd town center, and LaaaN's still in an all-in position here.
He needs to bring his knights back, though. They're still patrolling on the right side.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Those need to be part of the fight. Maybe another Mangonel, or even Scorpions, just hold on here for a few more minutes. Might be fine. You have the Siege Workshop anyway. He's getting the +2 armor, and LaaaN is just full committing onto production.
The Eagle timing normally works when you have the mass before the Night Mass. But trying to catch up is a bad sign here.
Is LaaaN going to go? He's going to go full production to a forward castle. He's going to try and make something happen.
I mean, if Margougou gets too fancy and tries to counterattack on the sides, LaaaN could maybe find an opportunity.
Got a big army. Like, he's been queuing this entire time, and we look at the military advantage. It's for LaaaN. The military value is for Margougou right now.
Yeah. 15 knights with
LaaaN
+2.
has 400 stone, Tristan. If Margougou's not careful, I could see a castle placement at the front here that could be very, very dangerous.
We've got 6 knights attacking this wall, and then there's 5 knights still patrolling the back of Margougou's base. Margougou, my friend, just get those knights to the front, and you're probably okay.
Yeah, he's probably nervous right now, though.
Yeah,
he's like,
super nervous.
Damn, I didn't expect to be this far ahead.
Yeah, the nerves come in when you start to win a series. When you're the underdog and you're losing, it's whatever. This is where you start to feel so nervous.
Mangonel is coming out. Mangonel is on the way. No town watch for Margougou, so he has like no vision here.
Oh, Vills are coming. They're heading towards that Palisade Foundation. Here are the Knights. They're going to run into Eagles. They're going to run into Crossbows. It's a great start to the fight for LaaaaaN, who will also go for the Mangonel, though I don't know if he'll kill it.
He's going to get the Mangonel. He's going to get the Mangonel. Big shot
but
comes
the Knights
in.
found the
He's
Vills.
sniping the Knights. The Knights have found the Vills, so that'll tell Margougou exactly what's happening. But he's losing his Knight Mass. However, there are more Knights behind, and there's +2 armor now. This seems over for LaaaaaN. Margougou is going to clear up all the Vills. He's going to clear up all the crossbow. Oh, LaaaaaN couldn't make it happen. He couldn't make it happen.
Frustrating position for LaaaaaN, man. He did so well in the groups. He needed to win this best of 5, and Margougou, he barely squeaked into the playoffs. But he's made it happen here, Dave. He had decent defense in Feudal. And his opening to Castle Age was perfect with the lead skirm and Knight. His eco's been great with 3 town centers. He's got a 30 Vil lead. Take a deep breath, Margougou. Take one more big fight, and you're into Platinum League.
And just keep this Mangonel at the back. Get ready to attack round of Foundation. As soon as you see the villagers coming forward, keep the Knights producing. And you're fine. You just have to calm down and calmly assess the situation.
Yeah, and one shot, it might not even be needed, but one shot and it's over. And LaaaaaN knows it, too. Just like he knew the last 30 minutes of the previous game that this is bad, and he played on. He's going to just try his best here. But if you're not dropping that castle already, your economy is so far behind here.
Yep. Has to be careful about the Knight being converted. Mangonel is just hunting.
Go for the Monk.
Is just hunting.
And that conversion took forever for that Monk. Finally gets it. The Mangonel goes down. The crossbows will also go down. There's still so many Knights. But Margougou has to back away. He's got 6 more Knights in queue. He's got full Castle Age upgrades. And here come the villagers for LaaaaaN. This is like his third attempt.
Here comes LaaaaaN. He doesn't have enough pikemen. The Monk has no faith. The villagers once again going back. And there's so many Palisade Foundations. Every single one of these Palisade Foundations is when LaaaaaN tried to go somewhere with his skills. And it's just not working. Yeah,
the reason you do this, by the way, it's an old habit. It makes your villagers go in a straight line with the pathing. That's why players will do this. But again, the army count, man. Got 9 crossbows, 3 pikes. Margougou, he could let a castle go up on his face right now. It still wouldn't make a difference. Chinese was the very first pick for Margougou. When he saw Arabia as one of the maps, it's been one of the most played civilizations in Platinum, at least. It's got a great win rate, always has been. One of the best civilizations for Arabia, as long as they don't struggle early. And it was awkward at times, but Margougou, yeah, let's go, Margougou. Drop the castle on the front. Control this hill.
Delete that one. Put it further forward. Pull a yo. Delete that. Put it further forward.
Place it on the archery range. Is that maybe that's too maybe that's too disrespect.
Where LaaaaaN was gonna place his. LaaaAN's going for a castle now. He's got 1 pikeman, 3 crossbows, and a dream.
Yeah, that castle's not going to go up. He's got 4 army. He calls the GG. And Margougou moves on to Platinum. He's in the top 24 of the world. LaaaaaN will be back in gold next season. And LaaaaaN will be one of the favorites to win whatever group he's in because of how good he played. And I got to be honest, I'm heartbroken for LaaaaaN right now because of how well he played. He did have a better group showing than Margougou. But if you don't win your group and then you don't deliver in the playoffs, this can happen. Congrats, Margougou.
5-0 in the group, but he gave up a lot of games, right? He gave up a lot of games, and that's why he wasn't in a position to automatically go through, like Vivi was. Margougou making it through to Platinum, and his teammate Sato being relegated down to gold, so they're just simply switching places here. But that was fantastic. Margougou has gotten so much better over the last year alone, and yeah, he's amazing, man. Congrats to him.
Yeah, Margougou is one of the players that this type of format was designed for, right? A younger player, really trying to look for opportunities to work his way up through all these different groups. And, you know, these normal events where you might have just a simple knockout, Margougou is maybe losing in, like, you know, the second or third round to a top 8, a top 16 player, and then, you know, that event's over. So he wasn't as consistent as maybe he would have wanted to be in the groups, but when it really mattered here in this best of 5, he made it happen. I hope this isn't too discouraging for LaaaaaN. Obviously earned quite a nice purse getting all those wins and getting cash per game, but LaaaaaN could easily be back in this position or even win his group in Season 3 and move up to Platinum eventually. But I'm excited
really
for
impressed
Margougou.
by him, though. I was really impressed by LaaaaaN throughout the group stage.
Agreed.
I watched a bunch of his games. It looks like he's getting back into form. I would have loved to see him advance to Platinum, but Margougou deserves it. And there's going to be how many My Insanity players now in Platinum? Daniel, Andy, LaaaaaN, or not Daniel, not LaaaaaN, sorry. Daniel, Andy, and Margougou all making it up.
Yeah, I think My Insanity
Platinum.
just picked up Andy this week too, right?
Yeah, they did.
They were like,
Yep.
wait, how many wins does he have in the group? What team is he on? He's on our team now.
I know Bullet's been working on that one for a while.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he's a talented player, and eventually we'll sit down and like kind of find time to give credit to the people who won their groups in gold, because we didn't cast them because of all the platinum action and them just moving on to platinum for the next season. But yeah, I mean, that's it. So let's actually just take a moment and just talk through, remind people who was relegated out of platinum, and then talk about the 8 players that are confirmed to go up to platinum for the next season, and then that'll be it before we move on to the playoffs. I gotta pull up Wikipedia. I could probably rattle it off the top of my head, but I forget one. Big names, just big names with big shoes to fill. We have Nikov and Vinchester, who's relegated out of Group A. MBL and Dark relegated out of Group B. Kapoch and Kingston relegated out of C. And then Sito and Sebastian relegated out of Group D in Platinum. Now, that is one... I'm trying to think, how many spots here were maybe unexpected? 5 of the 8? Nikov, Vinchester...
now?
Yeah, just trying to talk about what spots these guys are filling.
Nikov, Vinch, we thought it like...
MBL.
If you ask the bookies, it would be Running and Valis going down from Group A.
Yeah, true.
It would have been Dark and Draken, likely, or Dark and Backed, going down from Group B, and MBL's going down. Group C, it probably would have been Kingston and Ganji, or Kingston and Miguel.
Yep.
But Kapoch falls. And then for Group D, it probably would have been Burles and Sebastian, your expected guys to fall. So out of 8 potential spots, 5 of them are surprises.
Yeah, which is
that's crazy.
Which is crazy. And these guys who are going to move on to next and talk about, their performance in gold, they absolutely can do the same thing that Valis and Running and Draken and all these guys have done, because others have done it too. So, so the winner of Group A in gold then was Freakin' Andy. And Freakin' Andy was in a stacked group as well. We had Daniel, we had Hart, we had Slam, Bad Boy, who was in Platinum Season 1. Sobek. I didn't have my money on Sobek to win Group B.
Dude, Sobek, yeah, that might be the biggest surprise here. Like, I know, actually, no, Andy is probably still the biggest surprise, but Sobek is a close runner.
I would have said Classic Pro would have won that group.
Classic Pro or Say My Name for me.
Yeah.
I think Say My Name's really strong, and he gets relegated, which is unbelievable.
Yep, and then Dogal, perhaps not a surprise at all here. The most expected result in Group C because he's so consistent. And then Fat Dragon in one Group D. But in terms of the promoted players, in total, we have the group winners, Andy, Sobek, Dogal, Fat Dragon, and then Daniel, Classic Pro, Lix, and then Margougou. Some awesome names, man.